Chapter 195. As the villagers spoke, there wasn't much valuable information. What they said was basically the same as the information they received. After meeting up, Wang Zhong asked the villagers to seek refuge in the county where they came from. After all, the water ghost under the bridge had been dealt with. After this battle, everyone finally understood how cruel the heretical cultivators of the famous country were. They were all furious. Wang Zhong led them on their way. Under the guidance of Tai Dan, they finally arrived at the official road of Black Bear City. The road was filled with corpses. There were soldiers and ordinary people. These corpses all had one thing in common, and that was that their blood essence had been sucked dry. Those bastards, they killed so many people just to cultivate. Gu Li cried angrily. Xiao Dong, tell me, why do people want to cultivate? They killed so many people. The emperor over there did it for the sake of cultivating. At this moment, Wang Zhong thought of himself. Hui Chao didn't lose so many people. However, those with good talent would also be secretly implanted with ghost babies. On the surface, the masters who protected the people were actually the same as these black-robed people. In the end, the emperor of the famous country walked the extreme path. Hui Chao walked the path of rearing animals. Wang Zhong couldn't help but be at a loss. Was this world all like this? In order to become an immortal, everyone would do anything. Senior brother Zhao, we found that the heretical cultivators are all in the city. There are many survivors and spiders. A disciple who went to investigate walked over and reported. Wang Zhong nodded his head. He had also noticed this point. In this place, besides the human corpses, there were also many spider corpses. These spiders were the size of a fist. They were obviously not ordinary creatures. According to his estimation, there should be spider demons in this city. This wasn't strange. He could subdue pig demons and flower demons. It was normal for others to subdue spider demons. Quickly return. Report the situation here. Wang Zhong quickly left with his men. When they reached the bridge, the sky was already bright. Although everyone was tired, none of them complained. Seeing this, Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. Although the people of the famous country were in a terrible situation, at least the immortal mountains still retained a trace of humanity. Not long after they arrived at the bridge, Hua Ying and Tang Qi walked over from both sides. Gu Li hurriedly wiped away his tears and said, "Brothers, later in front of Yaya, don't say that I cried." Wang Zhong smiled. This guy still knew how to save face. "How are you guys?" Hua Ying walked over and asked. "I've investigated thoroughly. There's a spider spirit in the city. Many civilians are still alive." Wang Zhong reported his findings as he walked. "We're about the same, but we caught an evil cultivator." He said that the reason why they killed so many people this time was because the emperor of the famous country didn't have much time left. Their lifespan was not long, so in order to continue living, they needed more blood essence to maintain their vitality. Wang Zhong did not know what this cultivation method was like, but he could imagine these things. Moreover, he had a vague feeling that Minggua's cultivation method was the same as Huichao's. Didn't the imperial tutor of the Hui dynasty also live for a long time? "Tang Qi, how did your investigation go?" Hua Ying turned his head and asked. "I entered the city and killed a group of evil cultivators." Tang Qi's words were shocking, but there were more and more evil cultivators behind, so I withdrew from here. Madman. This was the common thought in everyone's heart. However, Wang Zhong understood him. He didn't enter the city to save people, but purely to fight. He wanted to sharpen himself in battle and become stronger. This was his only purpose. After returning to the base camp and understanding the situation, Elder Nalan personally led the team to Black Bear City. What was surprising was that the news might have leaked in advance. After they went over, the evil cultivators in Black Bear City were basically all gone, leaving only a few small fries guarding here. These small fries were much easier to deal with. There were many people in the Immortal Mountain. In terms of strength, they were not weak, so it was easy to deal with the evil cultivators' subordinates. After taking over Black Bear City, Wang Zhong found out that almost half of the people in the city had died. People died almost every day. The people of Mingwa didn't kill at will. Instead, they sacrificed all these people one by one into jars and then transported these jars back. The reason why the evil cultivators could come over was that they used human lives to open a passage in the evil creature forest. It was also in this year that the Immortal Mountain decided to declare war on Mingwa. After all, there was already a passage in the evil creature forest, so they could send people over. However, these things were not under the control of Wang Zhong and the other new disciples. After returning, Wang Zhong continued to cultivate. At night, Wang Zhong couldn't wait to take out the limitless sword. After obtaining the limitless sword, he didn't have time to study it. Now, he wanted to study it clearly. Because after obtaining the limitless sword, he found a very strange thing. When he obtained the sword, he seemed to be able to communicate with the sword. However, the sword didn't respond after that. It was very strange. Sword, sword. Is there a response? Sword, system. Wang Zhong shouted a few times, but there was no response. Then why was there a response at that time? Was it because of a special situation? Wang Zhong recalled for a moment and suddenly remembered that he seemed to be using the limitless heaven and earth, borrowing power from the universe technique at that time. He used this technique to unleash sword chi. Let's give it a try. Wang Zhong stood at the top of the mountain, and the flower demons stared at him from behind. Wang Zhong silently chanted in his heart, limitless heaven and earth, borrowing power from the universe. As soon as he finished speaking, the limitless sword suddenly trembled, and a voice came over, Child, you are too weak. I have already helped you solve the evil creature in your body. Cultivate well. When the time is right, I will look for you. Don't let anyone know of my existence, not even Qi Wentian. With that, the sword suddenly lit up. Only then did Wang Zhong notice that there was a line of small words on the sword body. This is a sword technique manual. The day I learn it is the day I recover. The old voice gradually faded away. This, Wang Zhong recalled the words of the old man and fell into deep thought. This sword was obviously extraordinary. The world he was in was obviously hiding a huge secret behind it. It seems that I have to investigate carefully. Spring went and winter came. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was already 19 years old. During this period, other than cultivating, Wang Zhong had been secretly investigating Ziru's news. Unfortunately, like before, there was no news of Ziru. As for him and Tang Qi, they had now officially become Qi Wentian's disciples. Under his guidance, the two's strength had advanced by leaps and bounds. However, this was all on the surface. Wang Zhong's true strength came from the limitless sword. The cultivation method on the sword body matched with the sword, and using it was incomparably fast. There were a total of 10 moves, but currently, he had only cultivated to the 5th move. Although he did not know about Ziru's news, he knew a very shocking news. Mountain Lord Qi Wentian's wife, Zhang Han, had never appeared. After hearing from Qi Wentian's eldest disciple, he knew that Master's wife had been seriously ill in bed for many years. And Master's wife was already more than 300 years old. Knowing this, Wang Zhong furrowed his brows. He thought of Ziru. Senior brother, you haven't seen Master's wife for a long time, right? It was going to be the new year again. Wang Zhong invited senior brother Hao Qi down the mountain alone for a drink. That's right, counting, it's been 5 years, Hao Qi said. 5 years, huh? Wang Zhong muttered and asked, Senior brother, have you seen an extremely ugly girl with a birthmark on her face? Her name is Ziru. Chapter 196. No. Hao Qi shook her head and said, Why are you asking this? Nothing. It's just that she came to the Immortal Mountain before me, but I haven't seen her since I came here. That's strange. Hao Qi frowned and suddenly said, By the way, a few years ago, Master's wife took a disciple up the mountain. Oh. Not many people know about this because the disciple who was sent to pick her up didn't come back in the end. Wang Zhong's heart skipped a beat. These days, He had also investigated Han Guang and the others who died in Li City and knew that they were all disciples of Master's wife Zhang Han. Therefore, he guessed that the one who took Ziru as a disciple should be Zhang Han. Unfortunately, Master's wife was seriously ill in bed and he hadn't seen her for a long time. Could Ziru be with her? After returning, Wang Zhong decisively took action. Taking the flower demon, he took advantage of the night and came to the vicinity of Qi Wantian's residence. Flower demon, use your pollen to create a person. Hide nearby and monitor day and night. Wang Zhong instructed. Now, the flower demon's strength had improved greatly. This was also due to Wang Zhong's careful nurturing and the rich resources on the immortal mountain. Her pollen could now allow the little demon to persist for about 7 days. This period of time was enough for him to monitor this place. Yes, Master. The flower demon nodded respectfully and began to shake. A thin and weak little girl appeared at the side. You stay here and I'll pick you up in 6 days. Do you understand? The little girl nodded slightly. Wang Zhong took the flower demon and left immediately. There was no choice. Qi Wentian was powerful. If he stayed for too long, Wang Zhong was also worried that he would give himself away. 6 days later, Wang Zhong came here again. The little girl had become a small wildflower, rooted in the ground. Taking advantage of the night, Wang Zhong dug out the little wildflower, buried it in the soil, and turned to leave without anyone noticing. How was it? Wang Zhong asked as soon as he returned to his residence. Master, I did see a female disciple there, but she was not ugly. She was very beautiful. Not an ugly girl. Wang Zhong frowned. Suddenly, his heart skipped a beat. At the Ghost Sword Mountain, didn't the heaven-destroying general also say that the person who defeated him was called Ziru and was very beautiful? Ziru's appearance changed? Wang Zhong thought to himself. He had to think of a way to get there. How was he going to get there? One day, he suddenly thought of a way. One day, he was practicing martial arts with his senior brothers as usual when a disciple suddenly ran over. Not good, news came from Minghua. Elder Nalan was ambushed and seriously injured. Wang Zhong stopped the disciple and asked, "Where is Elder Nalan?" Now that he is seriously injured and bedridden, he is defending Black Bear City. According to the news, the person who attacked Elder Nalan is most likely the current emperor of the famous country, Xiongba. I'm going to look for the mountain chieftain and inform him of this matter. Got it. Wang Zhong nodded. But for such a big matter, you're too slow. I'll go. Thank you, senior. Wang Zhong waved his hand indifferently. He was a little excited in his heart. He finally found an opportunity. He knew that in the morning, his master, Qi Wentian, would be at home with his wife, Zhang Han, who was seriously ill. Now that he had an excuse to go over, he would definitely be able to see Ziru. Opportunity. This was an excellent opportunity. Master, master, master. In order to act realistic, Wang Zhong shouted from afar. What's the matter? Qi Wentian usually had a good personality and never spoke loudly. However, this time, when he saw Wang Zhong rushing over, he could not help but shout angrily, "Didn't I tell you that Master's wife is seriously ill in bed and no one is allowed to come over?" Wang Zhong lowered his head and pretended to be apologetic. "I'm sorry, Master. There's really a big matter. I was in a hurry, so—" "It's fine. Speak, what's the matter?" Qi Wentian said. Just now, a disciple came to report that something happened in Minghua. Elder Nalan was injured. Wang Zhong told him the information in one breath and then cupped his hands. "I'm sorry, Master. I didn't disturb you, did I?" As he said that, he deliberately stretched his head and looked inside. At this time, a figure walked out. Seeing this figure, Wang Zhong was stunned. "It's her. It's really her. Ziru." The ugly birthmark on Ziru's face was completely gone. Without the birthmark, her face looked unusually round, beautiful, and delicate, smooth, and elastic. However, at this moment, Ziru's expression was incomparably indifferent. She only glanced at Wang Zhong indifferently. This feeling was actually like a stranger. Gulp. Wang Zhong was stunned on the spot. He was thinking whether to directly go over and acknowledge her or pretend not to know her. Looking at Ziru's appearance, she didn't seem to know him. What to do, what to do? Master, what's wrong? Ziru walked over calmly. She really didn't know him. At first, Wang Zhong thought that Ziru was pretending not to know him for some reason. However, upon closer inspection, Ziru's expression was too calm. This didn't seem to be pretending at all. She really didn't know him. What the hell was going on? At this moment, Wang Zhong decided to slow down and not acknowledge her. However, he could still ask questions. Wang Zhong cupped his hands towards Ziru. Greetings, senior sister. Just now, because of something, I offended you. I'm really sorry. I'm fine. I'm just worried that I've frightened Master's wife. Ziru said indifferently. Senior sister, I don't think I've seen you before. Wang Zhong mustered up his courage and asked. This is Ziru. She's a disciple that your master's wife personally took in when she was traveling outside. Because she's not a local and your master's wife is seriously ill, she's here to take care of your master's wife. Qi Wentian said indifferently. Oh, I see. Wang Zhong nodded and pretended to be suddenly enlightened. All right, let's go now. Qi Wentian said. When Wang Zhong was leaving, he took the time to look behind him. He saw Ziru turning her head and leaving without any reluctance. However, what surprised him was that at the window, a white-haired old woman was stretching out her hand and looking over here. Wang Zhong had never seen this old woman before. However, he guessed that she must be Qi Wentian's wife, Zhang Han. However, looking at Zhang Han's appearance, she was already as old as an old woman. Her face was full of wrinkles and she stretched out her trembling hand. She looked like she was actually trying to crawl out. Wang Zhong couldn't help but stop in his tracks. He suddenly felt that this old woman's appearance was actually somewhat pitiful. It was very strange. She was clearly Qi Wentian's wife, but her hair, clothes, and even her face were not well taken care of. Ah! The old woman opened her mouth as if wanting to speak. Master's wife, why did you get down from the bed again? Ziru walked over and pulled her back. Xiaodong, what are you looking at? At this moment, Qi Wentian turned his head and looked over. Chapter 197. Hearing Qi Wentian's question, Wang Zhong turned around and said, Oh, Master, isn't this the first time I've seen Mistress, so I was wondering if it would be bad if I didn't greet her. Qi Wentian smiled slightly. No need, after your mistress became seriously ill, she doesn't recognize anyone. Sigh, even her cultivation technique is no longer good, so her appearance has changed greatly. I'm afraid she doesn't have many years left to live. Is that so? Wang Zhong nodded slightly. He felt that Qi Wentian was hiding something from him. First, why didn't anyone know that Ziru was here serving Mistress? Obviously, Qi Wentian deliberately didn't let anyone know. Second, Ziru didn't recognize him. She really didn't know him. Third, why did Zhang Han's eyes look like they were begging for help, and that look was so familiar? Xiaodong, don't think too much, let's go. Qi Wentian walked out. Looking at Qi Wentian's back, Wang Zhong sneered in his heart. When talking about his wife who had lived with him for hundreds of years, he didn't look sad at all. There must be a problem. I'll come and take a look when I have the chance. Wang Zhong made up his mind. After following Qi Wentian out, Qi Wentian quickly began to organize people, preparing to go to the border with Ming country. There was no other way. Nalan was seriously injured, and the other elders were there. For now, he could only do it himself. A few days later, Qi Wentian personally led the team, preparing to go to the border. But this time, Wang Zhong didn't ask to go. Master, I feel like I'm going to advance, so I don't plan to go. Wang Zhong requested Qi Wentian. Qi Wentian frowned. Xiaodong, you're now one of the strongest among my disciples. Are you sure you don't want to go? Master, I plan to go after advancing. After all, if there's an accident, I'm afraid I'll drag everyone down. Wang Zhong found a perfect reason. He believed that Qi Wentian would give him face. Qi Wentian nodded. All right then, cultivate well and strive to step into the blood Qi stage as soon as possible. Understood. Master. Here are 2 bottles of spiritual root elixir. After you consume it, it can accelerate your cultivation speed. Qi Wentian said as he handed the elixir over. Thank you, Master. Wang Zhong happily received the spirit root fluid. Qi Wentian finally left with his disciples. In the mountain gate, there were only a few elders and some new disciples left. Wang Zhong began to speed up and carry out his plan. He wanted to figure out what was going on with Ziru. At night, Wang Zhong stayed outside the house to practice his swordsmanship. Whoosh! The limitless sword appeared in his hand. According to Gao Jinren's cultivation technique, Wang Zhong began to circulate his qi. While cultivating, Wang Zhong recalled his conversation with Qi Wentian. Everyone thought that his strength was at the qi cleansing stage, but they didn't know that he had already entered the blood qi stage. At the blood and qi stage, qi had already transformed the blood in one's body, causing one's explosive power to become even stronger. Unfortunately, he had not fully grasped this power, so he estimated that his strength was still in the middle to low levels. If he had used the spirit root elixir, he would have been able to raise his strength to the peak of the blood and qi stage. However, after using the spirit root elixir, Wang Zhong realized that although his strength had increased, there were many impurities in his qi, making it difficult to circulate his qi. He guessed that this was because his foundation was not stable. In order to stabilize his foundation, he was not prepared to use the spirit root elixir. After cultivating for a while and familiarizing himself with the use of the blood and qi stage, a girl wearing a disciple uniform quickly walked over. Master. The person who came was the little demon formed by pollen. At this moment, the flower demon was behind Wang Zhong. Seeing the little demon come over, she asked, "How's the investigation?" These days, Wang Zhong had arranged for many little demons to monitor Ziru's residence. Every day at this time, the flower demon would come over to report. Master, that girl called Ziru would cultivate at the entrance every day. As for Master's wife, Zhang Han, she has been locked up. It's strange, the weather is so good, but she is not allowed to come out and bask in the sun. The little demon said truthfully. Wang Zhong frowned. It seems that Zhang Han is under house arrest. Yes, Master. Also, I found a problem. Zhang Han has been unable to speak. When she speaks, she can only make sounds. It seems that she has lost her tongue and can't speak. At this point, Wang Zhong had understood some of the situation. No matter what, he had to speak to Zhang Han to find out the truth. And to do this, he had to lure Ziru away. After all, Ziru could not be trusted so far. She was not Ziru. Although she looked exactly the same as Ziru, she only lacked the birthmark. Thinking of this, Wang Zhong felt that there was no time to lose and immediately took action. At night, Wang Zhong changed his clothes and covered himself with a black cloth. Then, he walked out with the flower demon. Flower demon, release the demon aura on your body. Wang Zhong instructed. Only by releasing the demon aura, if it was discovered by others, they would only think that it was an evil creature and would not suspect him. Understood. Master. A gust of demon aura was released from Wang Zhong's body. At this moment, even if Qi Wentian met Wang Zhong, he would only think that it was an evil creature. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. In the dark night, there was no one on the immortal mountain. But it was not that there was no one. Every important place would be patrolled by the disciples of the discipline hall to prevent any accidents. Unfortunately, Wang Zhong had lived here for so many years. He knew the places and times of these patrolling like the back of his hand. Hence, he was not worried. Bypassing these patrolling disciples, Wang Zhong had already sneaked into Qi Wentian's residence. Mountain Lord's residence. This place was not small. It was divided into a front yard and a backyard. Master's wife, Zhang Han, lived in the backyard. For some reason, Qi Wentian forbade anyone from entering the backyard. Even his personal disciples were no exception. There were disciples guarding the surroundings of the mountain lord's residence. But in the backyard, there were no guards at all. There were only 2 disciples guarding the entrance. But after so many years, nothing had happened here. Hence, these 2 disciples did not guard seriously. They would chat from time to time. Because of this, the little demon that Wang Zhong had arranged could easily bypass them. He passed through the small bamboo forest in the backyard and arrived at the backyard. At this moment, Wang Zhong was taking this route. Finally, he arrived at the small bamboo forest. At this moment, he restrained his aura to the extreme. Stepping on the stone path in the bamboo forest, he used the moonlight to carefully avoid stepping on any fallen leaves. Step by step, he sneaked towards the only residence in the backyard. Candlelight was still flickering in the residence in the backyard. This meant that the person inside had not rested yet. This was also very normal. Many cultivators, in order to become stronger as soon as possible, would persevere in their cultivation. They were not willing to waste even the time to rest. Finally, he arrived at the bottom of the backyard. Ziru's voice came from the house. Letting you live for so long is already my benevolence. Don't worry. After you leave, Wentian and I will bury you grandly. Ziru's voice was cold. Although her voice was still the same, Wang Zhong could be sure that this person was not Ziru. There was another person living in her body. Possession. For a moment, Wang Zhong seemed to have grasped something. The powerful cultivators in this world could live for hundreds of years. But that did not mean that they could live forever. When they encountered a situation where their lifespan was really reaching its end, it was very likely that they would use other methods. Immortality was the goal that everyone wanted to pursue. What was the purpose of becoming an immortal? Wasn't it to pursue immortality? Chapter 198. As Ziru finished speaking, Zhang Han's painful voice came from inside. Wang Zhong could tell that Zhang Han's tongue was indeed cut off, so no matter how painful it was, she could only cry out in pain. So ruthless. Wang Zhong was infuriated, but he controlled his actions very well. Very simple, he still had not figured out the current situation. Ziru inside had obviously been possessed. Ziru originally had a powerful spirit root and had a good foundation since young. If Zhang Han felt that his lifespan was about to end, Ziru was indeed the most likely target. But what he did not understand was, why did he not kill Ziru? There were too many questions, and he still did not know the real strength of this fake Ziru. If he acted rashly, what if he was defeated? After all, Wang Zhong knew that with Qi Wantian's strength, he was no match for him. Wang Zhong secretly listened. The person inside seemed to be cultivating. Unfortunately, the fake Ziru did not speak anymore, so he could not get much information. After thinking, Wang Zhong said to the flower demon, "Create a flower demon and lure Ziru away." Soon, a small demon appeared. Wang Zhong nodded. Go as far as you can." "Got it." The small demon's body was connected to the flower demon, so after hearing the order, it ran out immediately. Sha sha sha, sha sha sha. The fake Ziru in the house was cultivating. Suddenly her eyes widened. Why is there demonic aura outside? This was the demonic aura that the small demon deliberately emitted. Ziru stood up and snorted. Evil beings are getting bolder and bolder, daring to sneak in here. Don't tell me they were sent by those guys from Minghua. Ziru frowned and walked out. Once she went out, she saw a small demon enter the dense forest. Where are you going? Ziru chased out. The plan was carried out smoothly. Sensing the figure leaving, Wang Zhong came to the front door and pushed it open. The furnishings in the house were very simple. It could be seen that Qi Wentian was not the kind of person who liked luxury. This was also in line with his usual style of dressing. On the bed, there was a white-haired old woman. Her hands and feet were tied. Her clothes were thin, and her body was weak. His appearance was actually much older than when he had first seen him. Wang Zhong knew that this old woman was Zhang Han. It was very likely that Ziru was inside her body. This was his guess. The old woman's eyes were closed and her body was twitching. It was obvious that she was in extreme pain. Her tears wetted the pillow beside her. Ziru. With his face covered, Wang Zhong changed his voice slightly and asked hoarsely. Hearing the sound, the old woman suddenly opened her eyes. Ziru, is that you? Wang Zhong asked. The old woman nodded her head vigorously. Ah. Lower your voice. Wang Zhong arranged for a flower goblin to stand guard outside, but he still had to be careful. If it was discovered, there would be endless trouble, and all his previous efforts would be wasted. The first thing he did was to untie the old woman. Wang Zhong took off his mask. At this moment, the old woman was stunned. She reached out and touched Wang Zhong's face. She opened her mouth, and her mouth clearly said, Zhao, Shao, Dong. She knew him. It must be Ziru. What's going on? Wang Zhong took out a piece of paper and a pen. The pen was made by grinding a black stone himself. It was more convenient to write than a brush. The old woman began to write. Zhao Xiaodong, I am Ziru. After I was captured by Zhang Han and Qi Wentian, Zhang Han has taken over my body. You have to be careful. I heard that the couple is plotting. Qi Wentian's life is coming to an end. His next step is to take over my body. His current target is either you, Tang Qi, or Hao Qi. It was indeed Ziru. How do I get you and Zhang Han to switch bodies? Wang Zhong asked. Ziru continued to write. They have cultivated the body-taking technique. They captured Zhang Han and injured her to her weakest state. At that time, I can enter her mind. Is Zhang Han strong now? Ziru, she used to be very strong. She was at the Qi cultivation realm like Qi Wentian. However, after she took over my body, her realm has dropped to the Qi controlling realm. Can you deal with her? If you can't, I can. I have her body. Although she doesn't have much life left, she is very strong. Just the Qi controlling realm? That's easy. Wang Zhong didn't expect the fake Ziru to be so weak. He thought that he was no match for her. Ziru, other than cultivating, she absorbs my power every day. So, I have to deal with her as soon as possible. Wang Zhong nodded. At this point, everything was clear. The reason why Qi Wentian and his wife didn't kill Ziru and imprisoned her here was to obtain the power that Zhang Han's original body had cultivated. So, Ziru and Zhang Han had been here all these years. I have the spiritual root elixir. Can it restore the power of your body? Wang Zhong asked. Ziru's eyes lit up and she nodded vigorously. Okay. Wang Zhong took out the spiritual root elixir that Qi Wentian gave him without hesitation and fed it to Ziru. In an instant, endless power surged out of Ziru's old body. This power was much weaker than Qi Wentian's. Wang Zhong guessed that this was because this body had been absorbed by Zhang Han all these years. Otherwise, with Zhang Han's original strength, she should be stronger. Ziru, I've recovered a lot. I'll deal with her later. Wang Zhong nodded. After a while, a small demon ran in from outside. Master, Ziru is back. Got it. Wang Zhong hid in the house and waited quietly. Strange. There are so many guards in the mountain gate. Why would such a low-level demon appear? Ziru's voice came from the door. She pushed the door open and found that the old woman on the bed was still awake. Instead, she was staring at her. The fake Ziru smiled at the old woman on the bed. Ziru, you're still awake. Ah. The old woman on the bed said angrily, My good disciple, I know you're angry, but you can't blame me. In order to achieve the great Tao, those who are soft-hearted will never go far. A few years ago, Wentian and I also walked the path of kindness. But in the end, our lifespans are almost up, and our cultivation can't improve. My good disciple, let me ask you, are you convinced? The fake Ziru said calmly. She shook her head and continued, Don't worry, this body of yours is very useful. In these few years, I've cultivated to such a level. I believe that in another 100 years, I'll be like my master, Gao Dong Tian, and achieve the great Tao and become an immortal. The fake Ziru said passionately. She walked to the bedside. My good disciple, don't worry and let me absorb your power. When the time comes, although you're dead, I'll make good use of this body of yours and cultivate to become an immortal. Sigh, it's a pity that you didn't abide by the virtues of a woman. This body is not a virgin. The fake Ziru shook her head and sighed. She stretched out her hand and was about to press it on the old woman's head to continue the devouring technique. The energy in the old woman's body was immediately absorbed by the fake Ziru. But at this time, the energy was increasing. The fake Ziru's expression changed. Why is there so much energy? The energy she absorbed was not limitless. Once it reached a critical point, she had to rest and refine the energy. Otherwise, the energy in the old woman's body would have been completely absorbed long ago. But at this moment, there was too much energy. The fake Ziru clearly remembered that this body's energy was already exhausted. But what was going on now? The next moment, the old woman raised her hand and pressed it on her forehead. Ah, 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 ah. The old woman opened her mouth and screamed hysterically. Chapter 199. What's going on? The fake Ziru's expression changed drastically. She had been absorbing energy just a moment ago, but because there was too much energy, the energy in her body was in a mess. Not only that, but the most important thing was that Ziru, who had always been sickly, could actually move. Her strength was not weak at all. Ah! The real Ziru screamed. Her voice was filled with anger and mixed emotions after surviving a disaster. She could feel the panic and weakness of the fake Ziru in front of her. This was the best time to deal with her. The energy was being devoured by Ziru. The fake Ziru wanted to resist and break free, but at this moment, a figure appeared behind her. Master's wife, I'm sorry. Wang Zhong's cold voice was heard as he slapped her back. Wang Zhong's strength was so great that the fake Ziru spat out a mouthful of blood. Ziru, possess her. Wang Zhong said coldly. I've already suppressed her strength. The old woman nodded slightly and raised her head. A black fog came out of her forehead. The possession technique was extremely evil. Ziru naturally did not know how to do it. However, she had been here for many years and had personally experienced the process of possession. Therefore, she knew how to do it. In the end, she was just returning to her body. The black fog slammed into the old woman's forehead. The old woman instinctively used her strength to resist, but her strength was suppressed by Wang Zhong. Therefore, she could not move at all. No, no, my good disciple. Do you want to kill your master? The fake Ziru screamed. Because she was nervous, her voice had changed. From the moment you possessed me, our relationship as master and disciple was severed. The black fog roared and slammed into her. Originally, Ziru would not have been able to return to her body so easily. However, the fake Ziru's strength was suppressed by Wang Zhong. Therefore, everything was much simpler. In an instant, the fake Ziru's black fog was pushed out. She panicked and tried to escape, but Wang Zhong easily caught her. It's you, Zhao Xiaodong. The black fog immediately recognized Wang Zhong. Master's wife, you and Master are truly ruthless. My wife's body has actually been taken over by you. Wang Zhong said coldly as he imprisoned the black mist. Now that he thought about it, Ziru was indeed his wife. Although it was fake in the beginning, the fake became real in the end. You. So you are. As the fake Ziru spoke, Ziru had already taken over her body. Her body shook and Zhong Han's soul was forced out. So you're Ziru's husband. So that's how it is. When Tian has a traitor like you by his side. Zhong Han shouted angrily. Wang Zhong shook his head. Compared to what you and your wife have done, this is insignificant. Ziru rested for a while before raising her head to look at the black fog. Xiaodong, if you let her go, it will be troublesome when Qi Wentian returns. Can you absorb her power? Wang Zhong asked. Sure. Good. I'm afraid Qi Wentian and the rest won't be back for a few months. During this time, you can absorb her power. All right. Following which, Wang Zhong stuffed Zhang Han's soul into her body. At this point, Ziru and Zhang Han's souls had been exchanged. After returning to her body, Zhang Han screamed in pain. This was because her body had been ravaged beyond recognition by her. Not only was her tongue cut off, there were even many hidden injuries on her body. The pain I suffered in the past is now returned to you. Looking at Zhang Han's pained expression, Ziru was indescribably cold. During this time, her body had been taken over by Zhang Han and she had been absorbing Zhang Han's original body strength to cultivate. Fortunately, because the body was unstable after taking over, they had never slept together. Otherwise, Ziru would definitely have been disgusted. Tell me about this couple. Also, she said that their master is actually Gao Dongtian. Wang Zhong asked. That's right. After hearing this news, I was also shocked. Ziru nodded slightly and began to tell her story. It turned out that after Ziru and Wang Zhong had said goodbye at the foot of the mountain, she had planned to meet her master and tell her about Zhao Xiaodong. When the time came, she would let Wang Zhong enter the immortal mountain to cultivate. Who knew that after going up the mountain, she would be knocked unconscious by Zhang Han. Since then, she had been locked up here. From the conversation between Zhang Han and Qi Wentian, she knew that the reason why their lifespans were so long was because they had secretly absorbed the spiritual roots of other disciples with great talent. However, they had been relying on this method to live and their lifespans were growing slower and slower. Finally, they had reached a bottleneck and their strength and functions began to decline. They knew that once this happened, it meant that their lifespans were about to end. In order to continue living, they had decided to take over the body. Ziru did not know how they knew the method of taking over the body. She only knew that on that day, Zhang Han pressed her hand on her head and easily took over her body. At the same time, she also knew how to take over the body. After all, this method was not difficult. She had experienced it herself, so she knew the method of taking over the body. After that, in order to prevent her from speaking carelessly, the couple had cut off her tongue and imprisoned her here. From that moment on, no one was allowed to come here. The reason why she was still alive was because Zhang Han wanted to absorb the energy from her body. After all, if Zhang Han wanted to cultivate from the beginning, the speed would be too slow. Absorbing the energy from the body would save her a lot of time. Xiaodong, if it wasn't for you, I'm afraid I could only live for a year at most. During this period, Zhang Han had used my body and gradually made the disciples familiar with it. She is already preparing to come back. When the time comes, that Qi Wentian will choose from you, Tang Qi, and how Qi to take over the body. What are you going to do next? After knocking Zhang Han unconscious, Ziru asked. No hurry. That Qi Wentian still needs some time to come back. You can rest assured here. Okay. Following that, Ziru absorbed the energy from Zhang Han's body every day. As for Wang Zhong, he sneaked into Qi Wentian's study room and even their bedroom. This Qi Wentian had calculated everything, but in the end, he did not expect that one day, his biggest secret would be obtained by someone. In Qi Wentian's study room, Wang Zhong indeed found a lot of good things. First was the alchemy technique. Next, he found a cauldron used for alchemy. As for the spirit root elixir, and other elixirs, they filled the entire bookshelf. If I can learn all of these, I definitely won't be worse than Qi Wentian. But the most important thing now is to think of a way to deal with Qi Wentian. Wang Zhong pondered secretly. From Ziru, he knew that Qi Wentian had already taken over their bodies. So he needed to hurry. Otherwise, once Qi Wentian took action, he would not be his opponent. So what he needed now was to set up a trap. When it came to traps, the best was poison. Xiaodong, this is the Qi dispersing pill. On this day, Ziru took out a white pill. During the days I was imprisoned, that couple kept feeding me this thing to prevent me from recovering my strength. After eating it, the energy in my body will gradually disappear. Qi dispersing pill. Wang Zhong smelled the smell and frowned. The smell is so strong. It's too unpleasant. That's right. So it's very difficult to make Qi Wentian eat this. Wang Zhong thought for a moment and suddenly had an idea. It's indeed very difficult. But I have a way. What way? We can do this. Wang Zhong explained the plan. For a moment, Ziru was incomparably nervous. Because this plan needed her to carry it out. It was very dangerous, but it was not impossible. As long as he eats this, I will think of a way to gradually control the immortal mountain. Wang Zhong looked at the distant mountain range and suddenly felt heroic. This is my immortal mountain. Chapter 200. Elder Nalan is back. On this day, Wang Zhong was teaching some new disciples martial arts in the martial arts field when he suddenly heard the report from a disciple at the foot of the mountain. Elder Nalan was seriously injured not long ago, and Qi Wentian brought some elders and disciples to rescue her. If Elder Nalan was back, did that mean Qi Wentian was back too? Wang Zhong's heart tightened, but he didn't show any nervousness on the surface. He asked the disciple who reported, "Is the mountain lord back?" "No, only Elder Nalan and a few of her disciples." "Is that so?" "Got it, I'll go and welcome them." Because most of the disciples went to the famous country this time, Wang Zhong had the highest status here, so he went down the mountain first. When he was halfway up the mountain, he saw Elder Nalan being supported by senior sister Hua Ying and others. As for Gu Li and a few male disciples, they were protecting her. Senior brother Zhao. A few male disciples greeted him. Although they were of the same generation, Wang Zhong was the direct disciple of the Mountain Lord, so these people naturally called him senior brother. Wang Zhong nodded. At this time, he saw that Gu Li's expression was obviously not right. Usually, when Gu Li saw him, he would always be the first to greet him and even joke with him. But this time, his expression was lonely and his eyes were red, as if he had cried before. What exactly happened to him? He scanned his surroundings, and his heart thumped. Duan Yaya was not here. What happened to her? However, Wang Zhong didn't say much and cupped his hands towards Elder Nalan. Elder Nalan. Zhao Xiaodong, is the sect safe? Everything is fine. Wang Zhong looked behind and said, "Where are the Mountain Lord and the others?" The king of the famous country personally went to battle with the Mountain Lord. I was seriously injured, so I came back first. Nalan shook her head. I heard from the Mountain Lord that you are going to advance. Yes, unfortunately, because of advancement, I missed the opportunity to go to the battlefield. Wang Zhong sighed. It's okay, you can go there as soon as you advance. Work hard. I know, Elder Nalan, go up the mountain and take care of your injuries. I will go find a few elders to heal you. Wang Zhong said. Elder Nalan seemed to be seriously injured. He walked very slowly. The first thing Wang Zhong did was to inform the elders to come over. Then he walked towards Gu Li. Gu Li, what happened to you? Woo woo woo. Unexpectedly, at this moment, Gu Li started crying. Some of the surrounding disciples looked over curiously. What are you all looking at? Hurry up and practice. Wang Zhong shouted sternly. The group of disciples hurriedly left. Wang Zhong then said, What's going on? Gu Li's eyes were red as he said word by word, Duanyaya, she, is dead. Killed by those people from Minghua? Not bad. Gu Li punched the pillar. Duanyaya is dead. Ha ha, Xiaodong. Do you know that the reason why I trained so hard and came here to cultivate is to see her? Since I was young, I have known her. Although she always treated me as a younger brother, I love her. We were also preparing to return to the sect and ask for leave to get married. But she is dead, do you know? Wang Zhong's face was cold. Duanyaya's death was indeed a big blow to Gu Li. He saw the two of them walking together and didn't expect it to be like this. Gu Li, go back and have a good rest. Wang Zhong said. Xiaodong, there's something that I want to tell you, Guli suddenly said as he looked at the departing back of Elder Nalan. What is it? This is very important. You are my best friend since I came here. I only trust you. Guli looked around and said. Wang Zhong nodded and then went to his residence with Guli. Guli, what is it that you can't say and have to come here? Wang Zhong felt strange. Yaya's death is not normal. Guli's eyes were filled with anger. He held Wang Zhong's shoulder and said emotionally, her death, I suspect it is related to Elder Nalan. This is also why I came back this time. I need to investigate. Tell me in detail, Wang Zhong said. After Elder Nalan was seriously injured, Mountain Lord came with a large army a few days later. After that, our attack was like a hot knife through butter. Yaya and I received orders to chase after the enemy, but before we left, Elder Nalan suddenly asked Yaya to stay and take care of her. I didn't think too much at that time. After all, Elder Nalan usually treated us very well. Moreover, Elder Nalan's situation was really bad at that time. She usually liked Yaya and Senior Hua Ying the most, so I acted on that mission alone. And then? Wang Zhong asked. After I returned, I received news that evil practitioners had invaded Elder Nalan's residence. Yaya, she died. Such a coincidence. Yes, I was also very strange at that time. How could it be so coincidental? At that time, only Elder Nalan and Duan Yaya were there. Those evil practitioners attacked there, but no one else was there. It was strange, really strange. But at that time, I didn't think too much about it until a few days later. I found that Elder Nalan's body suddenly became much better. Really? Wang Zhong narrowed his eyes. When I found that her body was much better, I suddenly thought of a key point. According to Duan Yaya's strength at that time, since the evil practitioners could kill her, they should also be able to kill Elder Nalan. But she was fine. Then, I dug out Yaya's body and found that the essence and blood in Yaya's body had been sucked dry. Absorbing essence and blood is the most convenient way for practitioners to heal, but that is what evil practitioners do. Wang Zhong said. Yes, it is what evil practitioners do. But the problem is that it takes time to absorb essence and blood, and it can't be disturbed by others. If the evil practitioners killed Yaya, how could they absorb Yaya's essence and blood when Elder Nalan was not dead? So I suspect that Yaya was killed by Elder Nalan. Gu Li's voice roared. Although our immortal mountain is known as a righteous sect that benefits the world, as long as one is a human, they are all selfish. Who knows if Elder Nalan has mastered any evil techniques? When her life was in danger, wouldn't she have evil intentions? At this moment, Wang Zhong thought of Qi Wentian and his wife. Elder Nalan had followed them for many years. Who would believe that Elder Nalan didn't know something fishy? Therefore, Wang Zhong concluded that there must be something wrong with Elder Nalan. Gu Li, what do you plan to do next? As he spoke, Wang Zhong was already considering whether or not he should tell Gu Li what he knew about the situation. But after thinking about it, he decided to forget it. Gu Li's current state was too sad. If he told him the truth, he might risk his life. I've thought about it. I've been monitoring Elder Nalan these days. She is now seriously injured, and I suspect that she will attack again. Okay, leave the monitoring to me, Wang Zhong said. Plop. Unexpectedly at this time, Gu Li directly knelt down. Little Dong, I, Gu Li, have only loved Yaya in my entire life. Now that she's dead, the only thing that keeps me alive is to avenge her. Thank you for helping me. I must get to the bottom of this. Chapter 201. Several days passed in a row. During these days, Wang Zhong had been arranging for the flower demon to move around the place where Elder Nalan lived. Sometimes, he even personally went around. With his identity, no one dared to stop him now. And Wang Zhong himself also had an excuse to get some medicine from other elders from time to time and go to Elder Nalan's place. After these days of observation, Wang Zhong himself found that there was something wrong with Elder Nalan. Originally, there were some servants taking care of her in the place where she lived, but after she came, those people were driven away by her with the excuse that she needed peace. After being driven away, she basically stayed in the house every day. Only some servants occasionally went to deliver some food. This day, at night, Wang Zhong was cultivating outside the house when suddenly Gu Li walked over. "Senior brother Zhao." "Gu Li, it's so late, what's the matter?" "Just now, Elder Nalan's disciple came to find me and asked me to go over." "Asked you to go over? For no reason, why did she ask you to go over?" "She said that she gave me and Hua Ying some tasks and asked us to go down the mountain when the time comes," Gu Li said. Wang Zhong pondered. There was no problem with Elder Nalan's excuse. However, there was no news from the front line recently and Elder Nalan had been concentrating on recovering from her injuries. Why did she ask them to go over? Strange, it was really strange. "Xiaodong, I may go down the mountain with senior sister Hua Ying when the time comes. I'll leave the matter of monitoring Elder Nalan to you," Gu Li said. "And don't worry." Gu Li nodded and turned to leave. Wang Zhong continued to cultivate for a while and was preparing to study Qi Wantian's alchemy skills. At this time, a little girl quickly walked over. This little girl was the little flower demon. Recently, Wang Zhong had arranged for her to stay around Elder Nalan's residence. "Something happened to Elder Nalan?" Wang Zhong saw her and asked. He had told her before that if there was a problem with Elder Nalan, she should report it immediately. The little flower demon nodded repeatedly. Something really happened. "I saw Hua Ying and Gu Li enter the house and didn't come out for a long time. I took a look out the window and they both fainted. That guy Nalan did it." This was Wang Zhong's first thought. He immediately ran out. Originally, he thought that Elder Nalan would not make a move again. After all, she only needed to quietly recuperate within the mountain gate, and her injuries would slowly recover. But now, it seemed that his guess was wrong. He sent Gu Li and Hua Ying over and announced that they were out on a mission. He would deal with the two of them later. Everyone else thought that Gu Li and Hua Ying were outside. At that time, Gu Li and Hua Ying would not be able to return, so the others would not say anything. This was Nalan's plan. Vicious indeed. Wang Zhong increased his speed, but he didn't alert anyone. He didn't know if there were other elders or disciples in the sect who were part of Nalan's group, so he decided to do it himself. "Master, why did you poison us?" Inside Elder Nalan's house, Hua Ying lay weakly on the ground. Just now, she was found by a disciple who said that Elder Nalan was looking for her, so she came over. When they came over, Gu Li was also there. However, Gu Li's expression did not look good. This was normal. Since Duan Yaya's death, Gu Li had been in grief. After entering the house, they saw that Nalan had placed some spiritual root liquid in front of her and gave it to them. To be honest, Hua Ying was very happy. After that, Nalan told them about the mission and invited them to drink tea. She and Gu Li both drank it. Without any preparation, they were poisoned just like that. Was their IQ low? No one would have thought that their master, who had always been kind to them, would poison them. Although Gu Li was wary of Nalan, Hua Ying was also here. How could he know that Nalan would be so poisonous to deal with the two of them? Nalan, who had always been kind, was expressionless at the moment. She bent her body and slowly stood up. She picked up the teacup, took a sip and said, "Hua Ying, you are my favorite eldest disciple. Your talent is outstanding. If it weren't for me, you would have died in the hands of evil creatures when you were young. Now, it's time for you to repay me." "Ha ha ha, poisonous woman, Yaya's death was also caused by you, right?" Gu Li asked hoarsely. Nalan turned her head unhappily. "Gu Li, I've taught you for so long, and you are so rude." "Bah! Pa!" Nalan threw a slap over. In an instant, 2 of Gu Li's teeth were knocked away. However, he still glared at Nalan fiercely. "Yaya, I will avenge Yaya." "Ha ha, you are indeed an infatuated person. So, among all my disciples, the one I look down on the most is you. Ignorant, incompetent, and sloppy all day." Nalan reprimanded. "As a cultivator, you should be cruel and merciless. Only then can you cultivate the supreme Tao. But you only talk about love. You won't go far in this life. I don't need to go far, Gu Li said coldly. So you are useless. Yaya is much better than you. She is an obedient child. I asked her to help me heal, and she stretched her head over. Although she struggled a few times in the end. All right, before she died, she begged me to let you go. I did want to let you go, but your recent attitude makes me very uncomfortable. Did you find out something? Yaya was indeed killed by you. Haha, poor me to actually respect you as my master. Forget it. You are still young. You don't understand how difficult the path of cultivation is. In order to find that trace of opportunity, some sacrifices are necessary. As she spoke, Nalan stretched out her hand and pressed it on Gu Li's forehead. Bear with it. Wait for me to suck you dry. My injuries will be more or less healed. Master, why are you doing this? I am your disciple. Hua Ying cried bitterly. She was adopted by Nalan since she was young. She almost saw Nalan as her biological mother. But the current Nalan, to her, was so unfamiliar. Hua Ying, I have no choice. The path of cultivation is very difficult. Some sacrifices are necessary. Nalan shook her head. Don't worry, I will give you a quick death. Wait a minute. You want to absorb our essence blood to heal your injuries? Then I alone should be enough. Why do you have to deal with senior sister Hua Ying? Gu Li said coldly. My body is seriously injured. My foundation is damaged and I can no longer cultivate. So I need a new body. Hua Ying, this time I am really sorry. Nalan said calmly. Master, you want to take over my body? Hua Ying's expression changed. If the mountain master finds out, he will kill you. You have broken the rules of the mountain. Ha ha ha. Mountain master, seeing that you are about to die, I will tell you honestly. The mountain master and his wife are actually the same as me. Nalan obviously did not want to waste any more time. Just as she was about to slap Gu Li's head away, footsteps came from outside. There are still people coming at this time? Nalan frowned. What are those disciples doing? Didn't I forbid anyone from coming in? Chapter 202. Nalan had just walked to the door when the door was slammed open with a bang. Puff. The force was too great and Nalan could not react at all. In addition, she was already seriously injured, so with this impact, she flew out and spat out a mouthful of blood. Wang Zhong stood with his hands behind his back and walked in slowly. Zhao Xiaodong. Nalan's expression changed when she saw the person who came in. In the past, she was not afraid of Zhao Xiaodong, but now, she was seriously injured. How could she fight with Zhao Xiaodong? After all, from the Mountain Lord Qi Wentian, she also knew that this Zhao Xiaodong was very talented and was one of his targets for possession. Elder Nalan, you actually poisoned me and want to possess me? Wang Zhong asked. Zhao Xiaodong, there are some things that I don't understand. Pretend that you didn't see what happened here. I'll reward you with 10 bottles of spiritual root liquid, okay? Nalan still did not want to have a direct confrontation with Wang Zhong. At this moment, it was best to calm Zhao Xiaodong down. However, it was a pity that Wang Zhong had seen all of her tricks. How could he let her go? However, in order to find out how many elders here were like Nalan, Wang Zhong nodded and agreed, 10 bottles of spiritual root liquid is not enough. 20 bottles. I also want 3 spirit weapons. Gu Li and Hua Ying were stunned. This Zhao Xiaodong actually wanted to collude with Elder Nalan. Elder Nalan was also stunned, then she laughed. Okay. I'm not afraid of what you want, but I'm afraid you'll fall out with me. As long as I stay calm, I'll have plenty of chances to mess with him in the future. The best would be to let the Mountain Lord possess Zhao Xiaodong. Of course, Nalan also had a little plan in her heart. She could not agree too quickly. So she pretended to be in a difficult position and said, Zhao Xiaodong, aren't you asking too much? That's not a lot at all. Do you believe that half of the people in the sect can hear me if I shout? Okay, I'll agree for now. Nalan said. Zhao Xiaodong, you actually… Pa. Before Gu Li could say anything, Wang Zhong slapped him. Shut up. This slap once again knocked out 2 of Gu Li's teeth, causing him to grimace in pain. Wang Zhong thought to himself as he looked at Gu Li's pitiful appearance. If you don't sacrifice the child, you won't get the wolf. Nalan was even more satisfied with Wang Zhong's ruthlessness. Nodding his head, he said, It's a deal then. Tomorrow morning, I'll send someone to deliver the items. At the same time, I'll promote you to an elder, no longer bound by the rules of being a disciple. How about it? That's great. By the way, there's one more thing. I wonder how many elders in the sect know the blood essence technique? Wang Zhong asked. If he wanted to gain a foothold here, it wouldn't be enough to just deal with Mountain Chieftain Qi Wentian and Nalan. He would have to dig out all those black-hearted elders who were hiding in the shadows. This was also the purpose of Wang Zhong and Nalan getting close. Why are you asking this? These people were the foundation of the Immortal Mountain. Only a few higher-ups knew about them. Nalan didn't want to tell Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong shook his head and said, I'm afraid you'll deal with me after this, so I need to know who's doing the same thing as you. It turned out that he wanted to get something on him. Nalan was stunned. He thought that Zhao Xiaodong was still too inexperienced. So what if he told him these things? All the elders were wearing the same pair of pants. When the time came, he could just deal with it secretly in advance. That's fine too. Anyway, we're now in a cooperative relationship. The method of feeding on disciples was taught to us by the mountain chieftain. Nalan began to explain. Gu Li and Hua Ying at the side were more and more shocked as they listened. Mountain Chieftain Qi Wentian was the oldest. In order to increase his lifespan, he had killed countless genius disciples. After absorbing the spirit roots of these disciples for his own use, he began to study the blood essence technique. The reason was very simple. It was impossible to increase one's lifespan forever. So when it reached the point where it couldn't increase anymore, he would have to carry out the blood essence technique. Over the years, Qi Wentian had won over a large number of elders. Counting, including Nalan himself, there were already a total of 12 elders, all of whom held high positions in the sect. After Nalan finished explaining, he smiled and said, Zhao Xiaodong, don't worry. When the time comes, you'll be the 13th elder. I'll take good care of you. Wang Zhong nodded. Those elders that Nalan mentioned just now, of course, he knew all of them. They were all figures who held great power in the sect. Usually, these elders were all sanctimonious. It was just that he didn't expect that they, the disciples, were actually treated as livestock. They took care of the disciples, gave the disciples heavenly materials and earthly treasures, taught and practiced. It seemed that they loved the disciples, but in fact, they were choosing the most talented among these disciples. When the time was ripe, they secretly plucked these people's spirit roots. In this way, they could increase their own cultivation, lifespan, and even blood essence technique. Their methods were vicious. But to these people, every man for himself was a natural choice for cultivators. This was just a normal thing to do. Zhao Xiaodong, my sect's secret has been told to you. You must remember that these things cannot be told to the outside world. Otherwise, even I can't protect you. After saying that, Nalan waved his hand. Well, you quickly leave. I'm going to cultivate soon. Got it. Wang Zhong nodded expressionlessly. In the next moment, the limitless sword was taken out. Puchi. Before Nalan could react, her whole body had already been split into 2 halves. Until the moment of her death, she still couldn't figure out why Wang Zhong wanted to kill her. Wasn't it good to cultivate together like this? Zhao Xiaodong you. Hua Ying didn't react. Haha, senior brother Zhao, I knew you would help me. Gu Li stared at the corpse on the ground. It's a pity that I can't kill her. Yaya, I'm useless. As he spoke, he covered his mouth. Just now, Wang Zhong was acting, that slap really hurt him. However, although it hurt, he felt very good. "Gu Li, now is not the time to be sad. You heard what I said just now. There are many other elders like this. Next, our plan is to seize power and completely eradicate these malignant tumors." Then, Wang Zhong told him about the matter between him and Zi Ru. Hearing that, Hua Ying bit his lip, his expression ugly. The master that he had always respected, the hill master, turned out to only be a cultivation tool. "Zhao Xiaodong, what do we do next? Tell me, I will do my best to help you," Hua Ying said. "Okay." Wang Zhong nodded silently. Next, it was time to secretly eliminate the 11 elders. A few days later, Wang Zhong, Hua Ying, and Gu Li targeted the weakest elder of the teaching hall, Elder Gu Yu. This person was more strict in teaching. He was already more than 100 years old, his talent was poor, and he was the least popular among the disciples. Although he was old, he liked to take advantage of female disciples. On this day, Elder Gu Yu found a female disciple at home and said that he would personally teach her. Although the female disciple was unwilling, she had no choice but to follow him since he was an elder. "Qiao Qiao, I noticed that your bones are not growing well recently. Come, Master will touch your bones and massage your bones. I guarantee that your strength will skyrocket, but you have to be obedient in the future, understand?" Gu Yu smiled. No. Hee, if you don't listen to me, you won't have a good ending." Gu Yu laughed excitedly. Since he became an elder, he had taken advantage of countless innocent disciples. But so what? With his status as an elder and his strength, which disciple would dare to be long-winded? He had secretly dealt with those that he was tired of and made them into his cauldrons. This allowed his lifespan to increase by 60 years. Unfortunately, his talent was not as good as Qi Wentian and his wife. Otherwise, he could have increased his lifespan by 160 years. "All right, Qiao Qiao, be good. I will give you an injection." Knock, 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 knock. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. "Who is it?" Gu Yu was displeased to be interrupted. "Elder Gu, it's me, Zhao Xiaodong." Chapter 203. Zhao Xiaodong. Gu Yu was in a bad mood. However, although Zhao Xiaodong was now a disciple, he was still a direct disciple of the Mountain Lord. In addition, he was obviously stronger than him. In the world of cultivators, strength was the most important thing. Therefore, no matter how unhappy he was, he could only admit defeat. No matter what, he could only admit that he was unlucky and open the door to welcome him with a smile. "Yo, Xiaodong, it's rare for you to come to Elder Ji's place." Gu Yu opened the door, stroking his beard with a smile, looking very friendly. Wang Zhong was expressionless as he glanced at the frightened female disciple Qiao Qiao in the room. "Elder Gu is so elegant," Wang Zhong said. "Hey, what nonsense are you talking about? Xiaodong, don't misunderstand. This elder is giving my beloved disciple a massage." Gu Yu said seriously. "Oh, so it's like that. Actually, you don't have to hide it from me. Elder Naylan and my master have already told me." Wang Zhong smiled. The reason why he laid his cards on the table was to ask for more information. After all, Naylan might not tell him everything. In addition, he said it vaguely to see how much Gu Yu knew. "Told you." Gu Yu's heart moved. "Yes, I'm one of you. This time, I came because I like Qiao Qiao, so you know." Kindred spirits? Gu Yu was happy. Good. Since you're one of us, then this elder will let you have Qiao Qiao. But later, you have to personally get rid of her to prevent her from talking too much. Because Wang Zhong mentioned Naylan and Qi Wentian, Gu Yu didn't think too much. Woo. Elder Gu, what are you talking about? Qiao Qiao was terrified. No one was stupid. She could hear the killing intent in Elder Gu Yu's words. Just when she thought that she would definitely die here, she didn't expect senior brother Zhao Xiaodong to suddenly make a move and stab Elder Gu Yu with his sword. You. Gu Yu's expression changed drastically. Obviously, The mountain chieftain and Elder Nalan had already told Zhao Xiaodong everything. Logically speaking, they should be kindred spirits. Why did he still kill him? He would never know the answer. Gu Yu's vision turned black, and he died. After he died, Hua Ying and Gu Li walked in together. Junior sister Qiao Qiao, are you all right? Hua Ying asked. Senior sister Hua. Seeing Hua Ying, who was also a woman, Qiao Qiao hugged her. Sob, what's going on? Hua Ying turned to look at Wang Zhong, not knowing what to say. Just tell the truth. Right now, 2 elders have already died. When Qi Wentian returns, he will know about this matter sooner or later. So before that, we have to deal with the remaining elders as soon as possible. Wang Zhong said. All right. Then, Hua Ying explained what had happened. After that, in Gu Yu's residence, they found many items belonging to the missing female disciples. Clothes, tummy teasers, hairpins. Qiao Qiao's face became more and more unsightly. I didn't expect Elder Gu Yu to be such a handsome man. It's the same for the other elders. Qiao Qiao, now that Elder Gu Yu is dead, if the other elders find out, they will definitely not let us off. Wang Zhong said. Senior brother Zhao, what do you want to do? Deal with them. Of the 11 elders mentioned by Elder Nalan, 2 had already been dealt with. The remaining 5 followed Qi Wentian to battle, while the remaining 5 stayed in the sect. Of these 5 people, 4 of them were not strong, but one of them was the Discipline Hall's elder, Qi Wentian's younger brother, Qi Zhan. This person was arrogant, and as the Discipline Hall's elder, he was very dignified. The disciples were most afraid of him. Wang Zhong prepared to deal with Qi Zhan next. There was no other reason. It was easy to deal with the other elders, but once more people died, Qi Zhan would definitely find out, so he killed him in advance. Moreover, the Discipline Hall led by Qi Zhan had many elders and disciples. Qi Zhan had to die early to be safe. The next day, Qi Zhan led 3 elders to patrol the sect. Qi Zhan stood with his hands behind his back. When he passed by Elder Nalan's residence, he paused. He remembered that Elder Nalan had been recuperating for a few days. It seemed like she was preparing to deal with Gu Li and Hua Ying. Why didn't he see any movement from Elder Nalan these days? Should he go and take a look? Thinking of this, Qi Zhan ordered the 2 elders behind him. I'll go take a look at Elder Nalan's injuries. You 2 patrol the surroundings. Yes, Elder Qi. The 2 of them did not dare to say anything and left together. Then, Qi Zhan walked towards Elder Nalan's residence. These days, Hua Ying had been here to prevent anyone from finding Elder Nalan and exposing the matter. Seeing Qi Zhan leave, Hua Ying hurriedly walked out. Greetings, Elder Qi. Hua Ying, you're here too. Qi Zhan was a little curious. Elder Nalan had not done anything to Hua Ying yet? Yes, Master asked me to guard here to prevent anyone from disturbing her recuperation. Hua Ying found a good excuse. Is that so? I'll go in and take a look. Qi Zhan was not so easy to talk to and was about to go in. Elder Qi, please don't make things difficult for me. If I disturb Master's recuperation, she will punish me. Hua Ying continued to block the way. Qi Zhan was displeased. With my status, do you think I will disturb her? I'm just going to take a look. But Master... Scram. Qi Zhan snorted coldly. This... Hua Ying's face turned pale. With her status as the eldest senior sister, Qi Zhan actually did not give her face. What should she do? Elder Qi. At this time, Wang Zhong walked over from behind. Zhao Xiaodong. Qi Zhan raised an eyebrow. Are you looking for me? There are disciples arguing in front. I hope you can go over and take a look, Wang Zhong said. What a coincidence. Qi Zhan turned around and nodded. Got it. With that, Qi Zhan left. Zhao Xiaodong, this guy seems difficult to deal with, Hua Ying said. Take care of him tonight. Let's do this. Wang Zhong explained the plan, and Hua Ying nodded slightly. is that so? Got it. Qi Zhan was a little angry today. He originally wanted to see how Nalan was doing, but he did not expect to be stopped by Hua Ying outside the door. Vaguely, he felt that something was not right. He had always been suspicious and had a bad temper, which was why he became the chief elder of the discipline hall. So he had been thinking about what happened during the day. This is not like Nalan's style. Qi Zhan thought in his heart. Nalan was just healing, not breaking through. So what if she was disturbed? Besides, his status was not ordinary. Would Hua Ying dare to stop him? Even if she did, couldn't Hua Ying enter the room and report? Thinking of this, Qi Zhan's heart thumped. Right, why didn't Hua Ying report? Also, Nalan secretly told him that she was going to use Hua Ying as a target for possession. This was what the elders had agreed at the beginning. After all, if they did not say it at the beginning, who would know if it was Nalan or Hua Ying after possession? Now, Hua Ying was fine, so what happened to Nalan? Didn't Nalan say that she gave them qi-dispersing pills? It seems that something unexpected happened. The more Qi Zhan thought about it, the more he felt that something was wrong. Looking at the sky outside, it was already dark. In order to figure out the situation, he decided to break into Nalan's residence at night and see what was going on there. If Hua Ying really dealt with Nalan, then don't blame him for being ruthless. Just as he went out, he saw Gu Li walking towards him. Elder Qi, Master is awake. Senior sister Hua told her about you looking for her during the day and specifically told me to ask you to go over, Gu Li said. She's awake. Qi Zhan nodded. Got it, I'll go now. Chapter 204. Qi Zhan walked quickly and soon arrived at Nalan's room with Gu Li. Nalan was wearing a white robe and sitting cross-legged on the ground with her back to him. Hua Ying was pouring tea beside her. Seeing that nothing was wrong in the room, Qi Zhan relaxed. Nalan. Elder Qi, please have some tea. Master just woke up from her injuries and isn't in a good state. Hua Ying poured a cup of tea and served it to Qi Zhan. Qi Zhan glanced at the tea and didn't take it. He snorted. Nalan, I'm talking to you. Isn't everything going according to plan? Why isn't there any movement? Nalan lowered her head and remained motionless. Nalan. Nalan. Qi Zhan snorted and walked over. I want to see what you're pretending to be. But at this moment, Nalan moved. She slowly got up and suddenly turned around. A pitch-black sword stabbed out. You're courting death. Qi Zhan had been waiting for this moment. When he entered the room, he felt that Nalan was still alive, but she didn't move at all. She even had her back to him. This wasn't Nalan's style. However, he wasn't afraid of anything because he was strong. Clang! Qi Zhan immediately drew his sword, but the attacker's attack was too strong. He was forced back several steps. It's you, Zhao Xiaodong. Qi Zhan frowned. He saw the sword in Wang Zhong's hand. In an instant, he was completely dumbfounded. Wuji, you actually used Master's sword. Qi Zhan's face was full of disbelief. Zhao Xiaodong, who are you? Master. Wang Zhong looked at the sword in his hand. Previously, he had learned from Zhang Han that they were actually Gao Dongtian's disciples. However, Gao Dongtian had ascended to immortality. For some reason, their disciples had lost their inheritance and didn't know how to become immortals. They couldn't even use Gao Dongtian's sword. This sword belongs to Gao Dongtian? I got it from Ghost Sword Mountain. You actually got this sword? Qi Zhan was furious. Tell me, what's the secret to immortality? Tell me. Wang Zhong shook her head. I don't know. Haha, that's impossible. You obtained Master's treasured sword, his inheritor. You can become an immortal. Tell me. With that, Qi Zhan attacked. As far as he was concerned, Zhao Xiaodong was only at the Qi controlling realm, while he was already at the blood and Qi realm. It would be a piece of cake to deal with him. After injuring Zhao Xiaodong and dealing with Gu Li and Hua Ying, they could slowly interrogate Zhao Xiaodong. However, he was stunned the next moment. Wang Zhong's strength was actually the same as his blood energy rank. The problem was that the sword in Wang Zhong's hand had multiplied his strength. Thus, Qi Zhan was unable to withstand this attack at all, and he was instantly knocked to the ground. Puqi. Wang Zhong did not intend to let Qi Zhan live, and he slashed out with his sword again. Qi Zhan's head fell to the ground. Phew! Wang Zhong heaved a sigh of relief. Qi Zhan was a stubborn and domineering person. Killing him was the right thing to do. After dealing with Qi Zhan, the remaining 4 elders were much easier to deal with. Thus, that night, Wang Zhong sneaked into 2 of the elders' houses to assassinate them, and he successfully dealt with them. The remaining 2 were tricked into taking qi dispersing pills and placed under house arrest. Wang Zhong kept these 2 alive for great use. Finally, 3 days later, the disciples realized that something was wrong. Why are the few main elders missing? Especially the people from the discipline hall, they began to look for Qi Zhan. With Qi Zhan gone, the discipline hall was temporarily under the control of Qi Zhan's eldest disciple, Zhou Ming. Master hasn't been found yet? On this day, Zhou Ming searched the mountain again, but he still could not find Qi Zhan. Just as he returned to his house, he saw someone coming over. He thought that the person was here to report, but when he saw the person, his eyes narrowed. Zhao Xiaodong, what brings you here? Senior brother Zhou, I have something to ask you. What is it? Come with me, I know where Elder Qi is. Is that so? Zhou Ming immediately followed Wang Zhong and soon arrived at his residence. However, when he pushed the door and entered, he was stunned. In the room, there was actually Qi Zhan's corpse and the other 2 elders who were under house arrest. Zhao Xiaodong, what do you want? Zhou Ming immediately drew his sword. Don't worry, Zhou Ming, there are some things you need to understand. Hua Ying walked over from behind. Senior sister Hua, even you are with him? Zhou Ming was shocked. Can you listen to us? Hua Ying shook her head. If we wanted to harm you, we would have done it long ago. Zhou Ming thought that was the case and nodded. Okay, then tell me. Next, Hua Ying told him about Duan Yaya's death, how she and Gu Li almost became Nalan's human cauldrons, as well as the actions of these elders in their daily lives. As for Qi Zhan, he was naturally with them. The more Zhou Ming listened, the more shocked he became, especially when he heard that he was Qi Zhan's next human cauldron. His master took care of him so much, gave him treasures to enjoy, and personally taught him cultivation. It turned out that he was treating him as a human cauldron. Zhou Ming, this is a serious matter. If word gets out, once the mountain master finds out, you and I will be in danger, Wang Zhong said solemnly. Senior brother Zhao, what are you going to do? Zhou Ming asked. Find more helpers, and when Qi Wentian returns, we will catch them all in one fell swoop. Okay. Day after day passed. The main elders in the sect collectively disappeared, but soon, Wang Zhong, Hua Ying, and the head disciple of the discipline hall, Zhou Ming, jointly announced to the public that the elders had something to do and left overnight. As for Elder Nalan, he had been recuperating in his room and did not see anyone. No one suspected anything. At first, there were people who were suspicious, but after senior sister Hua Ying, Zhou Ming, and even Zi Ru appeared, they believed it. And in secret, Wang Zhong, Hua Ying, and the rest would secretly find some senior disciples to present the truth in front of them. A month later, a disciple finally reported back from the front line. The mountain master Qi Wentian fought with the ruler of a famous country, Xiong Ba, and returned victorious. Xiong Ba escaped with heavy injuries. Qi Wentian would return the next day. That night, Wang Zhong, Hua Ying, Gu Li, Zhou Ming, and the rest gathered a large group of disciples in front of Wang Zhong's room to discuss important matters. Tomorrow, Qi Wentian will return. According to my sources, his target this time is me, Tang Qi, and Hao Qi. In other words, among the 3 of us, one of us will become his human cauldron. Wang Zhong said, in fact, all 3 of us will become his human cauldrons. Senior brother Zhao, we will help you. Yes, Let's resist Qi Wentian together. Wang Zhong looked at the crowd. There were not many of them, just over 20. But they were definitely a group of elite disciples. As for the other disciples, he chose to hide it. There was no other way. Once there were too many people, it would be easy for the news to leak. Everyone, Qi Wentian must be dealt with, but his strength is too strong. We need to think about it at length. Tomorrow, don't make a fuss, we will deal with the following matters. Wang Zhong said. Senior brother Zhao, if there's anything you need, feel free to tell us. That's right, our sisters will definitely help you. Not only the male disciples, many female disciples stood on this side, facing a common enemy. Seeing this scene, Wang Zhong smiled. At this moment, he was full of confidence. This confidence, other than having the support of so many people, came from his strength. If it was only based on cultivation realm, he might not be Qi Wentian's opponent. But if he added the limitless sword, then who would win and who would lose was not certain. Early the next morning, Qi Wentian finally returned with some elders. He should be injured. Looking at Qi Wentian's face, Wang Zhong thought to himself. Chapter 205. Although Qi Wentian did not say that he was injured, he said that after the battle with Xiong Ba retreated in defeat and he returned victorious. However, Wang Zhong guessed that it would not be so simple. If Qi Wentian returned victorious, according to the logic of a normal person, they would follow up the victory and attack. Now, Qi Wentian brought a group of elders and disciples back in the middle of the night. It did not look like a victorious return. At most, both sides would be injured. However, if Qi Wentian was really injured, it would be a good thing for him. Wang Zhong's thoughts turned quickly, but he immediately went to greet him. Master. Xiaodong, in the time that I was away, how was the mountain? Qi Wentian asked. Good. How's your cultivation? I'm about to advance in a few days. Good. Qi Wentian did not say anything, and the group walked up the mountain. Tang Qi and some disciples followed behind. Wang Zhong walked towards Tang Qi and asked, Tang Qi, what's the matter? Like before, Tang Qi was still a man of few words. Master seems to be injured? Wang Zhong asked. Just a small injury. Comparatively, Xiong Ba's injuries were more serious. We chased after him, and those evil cultivators suffered heavy casualties. That's good, but Master seems to be seriously injured. Wang Zhong asked. I'm not sure, I'm only in charge of escorting him back. I'll leave in a few days, Tang Qi said and left without turning back. Although Tang Qi did not say much, he was full of information. Wang Zhong could basically confirm that Qi Wentian was injured. The reason why he rushed back was to heal his injuries. When these elders healed their injuries, they basically used the method of absorbing the disciples' spirit roots. Also, Qi Wentian probably wanted to take over his body. After all, his body did not have much lifespan left, and with his injuries, his foundation might have been damaged. It was basically impossible to extend his lifespan. At that moment, Wang Zhong's thoughts turned rapidly, thinking of the most effective time to carry out the plan. After thinking for a while, he still walked towards the Mountain Lord's residence. Ziru must have started to carry out the plan. If it failed, he could help her immediately. However, during this period, he and Ziru had practiced countless times. After Qi Wentian returned, they would definitely succeed. After Qi Wentian returned to the mountain, he immediately instructed some of his disciples to return. He then entered the Mountain Lord's residence. Because he was the only one left, Qi Wentian said, Little Han. He and his wife, Zhang Han, had always called each other by their nicknames. Fortunately, Ziru had been here for many years and knew how they addressed each other and their habits like the back of her hand. Thus he walked over and said, Wentian, how are you? That Xiong Ba should be weaker than you. Why didn't you kill him? Xiong Ba is crazy. He doesn't have much lifespan left, and in order to find the path to becoming an immortal, he even killed the people on our side. However, we still allowed his strength to grow by quite a bit. I was careless and actually fought him to a standstill. If not for the fact that I had a trump card, I might have really lost. Phew, that's good. However, you're injured. Whose body do you want to possess? When Ziru spoke, whether it was her tone or her attitude, she was imitating Zhang Han from the past. It was so lifelike. I need to heal first. Zhao Xiaodong, Tang Qi and Hao Qi are all quite talented. Little Han, who do you think is suitable? Ziru said, Tang Qi is the weakest among them and is suitable to heal you. Hao Qi is old and is not suitable to be a cauldron. His spiritual root is also suitable to heal you. Then it will be Zhao Xiaodong. Qi Wentian nodded. Zhao Xiaodong is quite talented. At such a young age, he actually reached the 10th level of the Ghost Sword Mountain. Ziru smiled. So he is the most suitable. When do you plan to do it? There's no time to lose. My injuries are too serious. Then let's do it tonight. I have already prepared the medicine. Okay, Qi Wentian nodded. Alright, how is Ziru? I just finished absorbing. She fainted from the pain. Ziru said expressionlessly as she looked at the unconscious Zhang Han on the bed. I'll knock her out at night so that she won't cause any trouble. What if my 3 good disciples counterattack before they die? Although I'm not afraid of them, it'll waste a lot of energy to injure them. Especially Zhao Xiaodong, he's the target of my possession, so he can't be injured. I understand. Ziru nodded. You should rest for a while. Qi Wentian was about to leave when he suddenly stopped. Little Han. What is it? You are different from before. Qi Wentian looked over and stared at Ziru. Ziru's heart tightened, but she did not show any fear. Then, she held her forehead and her body tilted. Little Han. Qi Wentian quickly held Ziru. It is the after-effect of possession. I feel dizzy today. There are after-effects of possession. That's right. I feel that there is a barrier between my soul and this body. I am afraid that when my cultivation increases, it will be better. Ziru said. Rest well. Because of Ziru's quick wits, Qi Wentian did not suspect anything. At night, at the entrance of the Mountain Lord Manor, Tang Qi, Hao Qi, and Wang Zhong stood at the entrance. Yawn, it is so late. Why did Master ask us to come here? Hao Qi yawned and said. Tang Qi also frowned. I am at the most crucial part of my cultivation. Wang Zhong smiled. Let's go in and take a look. Let's go. The 3 of them walked in. Ziru had been waiting for a long time. She had prepared some tea and placed it on the table. As for Qi Wentian, he was sitting at the head seat. When he saw his 3 disciples enter, he smiled slightly. Sit, I have something to tell you. Master. The 3 of them greeted and sat down. Hao Qi had a worried expression. He was very filial and guessed that Qi Wentian might be injured. He was only pretending to be strong in order to stabilize the disciples. Tang Qi was expressionless. Although he respected Qi Wentian, he cared more about his own strength. He had already reached a state where he had no desires. In order to become stronger, he was constantly thinking about cultivation. Wang Zhong also had a worried look on his face. Master, are your injuries? Sigh. Qi Wentian did not hide and nodded slightly. You all saw it. That day, although I defeated Xiong Ba and forced him to leave with serious injuries, my foundation was also damaged. Considering the big picture, I did not announce it to the public. Master, what should we do? Hao Qi stood up anxiously. If there is no other way, how about we find some treasures for you? It's useless. Qi Wentian shook his head bitterly. My injuries are basically incurable. But you can. I called you here to talk about the matters in the Mountain Lord Manor. The heavy responsibility in the future will be handed to you all. Qi Wentian said and picked up the teacups, placing them in front of Wang Zhong, Tang Qi, and Hao Qi. Drink, I will talk about the future. Qi Wentian said. Tang Chi did not hesitate and finished the cup in one gulp. Hao Chi sighed and drank the tea. Master, no matter what, I, Hao Chi, will go through water and tread on fire without hesitation. Good. Qi Wentian nodded strongly. With you disciples saying this, Master is very gratified. Wang Zhong smiled and said to Qi Wentian, Master, don't say that. Come, let me use tea as wine to toast you. Master. Ziru pushed the tea in front of Qi Wentian. But this cup of tea was prepared long ago. Of course, he would not drink the same pot of tea as his disciples. After all, the tea for his disciples to drink was poisonous. Chapter 206. Qi Wentian's expression was calm. He had already discussed with Zhang Han that the tea given to the disciples contained qi-dispersing pills. This poison would not harm one's life or foundation, but it could disperse one's qi in a short period of time. The tea that Zhang Han was pouring for him was naturally fine. They had discussed this beforehand. Hence, he picked up the tea and nodded slightly at Wang Zhong. The two of them drank the tea in one gulp. Master, what do you want to say? Tang Chi said. He could not wait any longer. He had just reached a crucial point in his cultivation and wanted to advance. All right, I'll say it. I'm seriously injured and need your help. Qi Wentian said with a smile. Hao Qi immediately said, We won't refuse. That's good. Qi Wentian said. Hao Qi was about to say something when Tang Chi frowned. The feeling of advancing just now, why is it gone? Why is my body still weak? Because he was about to advance, he was very sensitive to this feeling. It would have been better if he did not say it. Hao Qi's expression also froze. Me too, why do I suddenly feel empty? Qi Wentian was still sipping his tea, and so was Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong drank a mouthful of tea and relaxed slightly. Tang Chi and Hao Qi naturally drank the poisonous tea. As for him, Ziru had actually swapped his tea with Qi Wentian's. However, the amount of tea in Qi Wentian's cup was less. Firstly, if there was too much poison, it would be easily discovered by Qi Wentian. Secondly, he needed Qi Wentian to tell the truth earlier. Only then would Tang Chi and Hao Qi really believe him. Hence, the effect of the medicine in Qi Wentian's body was slower. Something's wrong, something's wrong. Tang Chi stood up. Master, there's something wrong with my cultivation. I clearly felt the feeling of advancing just now, but it suddenly disappeared. I don't feel anything wrong. I think I was poisoned by the qi-dispersing pill? As the eldest disciple, Hao Qi naturally knew about the qi-dispersing pill. Suddenly, his gaze froze and he looked at the table in shock. The tea is poisonous? He looked at Qi Wentian and Ziru in shock, not understanding how this happened. However, he still believed in Qi Wentian and asked anxiously, Master, are you all right? I'm naturally fine. Have you forgotten that I'm not afraid of the qi-dispersing pill? Qi Wentian said calmly. Wang Zhong's heart thumped. What was this situation? Qi Wentian wasn't afraid of the qi-scattering pill? Ziru's expression also froze. She had been here for many years, but she had never heard Qi Wentian say that the qi-dispersing pill was useless to him. Oh, that's right. I just remembered that Master has practiced the art of poison resistance. No poison will have any effect on you. Hao Qi breathed a sigh of relief. But what happened to us, Master? Zhao Xiaodong, how are you? Tang Qi looked at Wang Zhong. I don't feel well either. Wang Zhong originally didn't want to pretend, but seeing that Qi Wentian was actually immune to the qi-dispersing pill, he could only pretend a bit to make the other party drop his guard. He had made a mistake this time. This guy was actually immune to poison. Qi Wentian stood up with his hands behind his back and said, The three of you are my, Qi Wentian's, favorite disciples. Don't worry, after you die, I will make the best clothes for you. Master, what do you mean? Tang Qi said coldly. Nothing. I just said, I am heavily injured and need to heal. Since you are willing to pay for me, then use your spiritual roots to heal me. Master, you. How Chi's expression changed. They were all cultivators and naturally knew what Chi Wentian meant. Master, I respect you a lot, but how can you do this? Tang Chi's expression was unhappy. At the same time, he looked around and his heart sank. He, Zhao Xiaodong, and Hao Qi had all been hit. They had no energy left in their bodies. How could they fight Chi Wentian? Chi Wentian said lightly, I have no choice. All right, Tang Chi, let's start with you. With that, he reached out his hand and prepared to slap Tang Chi's head. With this slap, the spiritual roots in Tang Chi's head would be slapped out and absorb the energy. I won't let you succeed so easily. Under the fear of death, Tang Chi endured the pain of the dissipating energy in his body and activated his energy to block Chi Wentian's attack. Stop fighting, stop fighting. We are all from the same sect. Master. Hao Qi was a peacemaker but also a little blindly loyal. Even now, he was still struggling to decide if he should make a move. Bang! Even though Tang Chi fought with his life, he was still suppressed by Chi Wentian in one move. He was pressed to the ground and vomited blood. Why do you have to do this? I don't want to hurt you. Looking at Tang Chi who was vomiting blood on the ground, Chi Wentian was worried but still reached out his hand. Don't worry, after I die, I will inform your family and protect your family for 100 years. Wang Zhong stood behind Chi Wentian. His expression flickered. Naturally, he was fine. Now that Chi Wentian was about to attack Tang Chi, if he succeeded, Chi Wentian's cultivation would definitely skyrocket. Thinking of this, he looked at Ziru. Ziru nodded slightly. Her meaning was obvious. Let's attack together. Whoosh! Wang Zhong suddenly moved and the pitch-black Wuji sword appeared in his hand. Slash! His first move was a killing move. Chi Wentian really did not suspect that Zhao Xiaodong would attack. It was unbelievable. In a moment of carelessness, his back was slashed. Swish! Zhao Xiaodong, you're fine. Just as Chi Wentian finished speaking, Ziru threw a punch. However, this punch was too weak for Chi Wentian. He nimbly dodged it and retreated to the door. Enduring the pain, Chi Wentian's face was gloomy. Xiao Han, you actually attacked me. No, you're not Xiao Han, you're Ziru. Chi Wentian suddenly realized. It seems that while I was away, there were some changes. Chi Wentian, you and Zhang Han stole my body. This enmity is irreconcilable. Ziru shouted. Chi Wentian did not care about Ziru at all. Instead, he looked at the black sword in Wang Zhong's hand. Wuji sword, you actually obtained the Wuji sword. That day when you entered the 10th stage, you didn't fail but succeeded. You even obtained the Wuji sword. You obtained Master's inheritance? Chi Wentian said in shock. Wang Zhong did not answer. He could feel that Chi Wentian's strength had indeed dropped greatly. Not only was he seriously injured, but he was also suppressed by the power of his Wuji sword. He himself did not expect that the Wuji sword would have such an effect. But thinking about it, the Wuji sword had been in the Ghost Sword Mountain for many years. If Chi Wentian could subdue it, he would have taken it himself. And he had not taken it yet. He probably could not deal with the Wuji sword. Although you obtained the Wuji sword, you have not completely controlled it. Today I took your body, which means that I can also obtain this sword. The road to immortality is just around the corner. Chi Wentian and Wang Zhong attacked almost at the same time. Chi Wentian, in order to become immortal, Wang Zhong, in order to survive, neither would give way to the other. Bang! The two weapons collided, and Chi Wentian's sword was cut in half. Wuji of heaven and earth, borrow the power of the universe. At this moment, Wang Zhong used the sword technique on the sword. Wuji sword technique. For a moment, behind Wang Zhong, an 8 trigrams disc flashed. Heaven and earth phenomenon, Wuji sword technique. No one had ever seen this move before. When Wang Zhong practiced it, he would only do it secretly in the middle of the night. This was his first real combat. Seeing the 8 trigrams disc, Qi Wentian's expression changed greatly. You really obtained Master's inheritance. He seemed to have seen the way to immortality and roared, "Give me the inheritance, give me the inheritance." Chapter 207. In an instant, Qi Wentian bit his lips, and blood essence spread. He had done this on purpose so that his cultivation would soar. In an instant, his originally weak body suddenly became incomparably strong. Doing this, although it would hurt his cultivation foundation, and his cultivation might even drop by 2 realms. But it didn't matter to Qi Wentian. 2 disciples had already been injured by him. Ziru was just a little bastard to him. He could kill her with a glare. As long as he dealt with Zhao Xiaodong and took away Zhao Xiaodong's body, it meant that he could obtain his master's inheritance. At that time, the road to immortality would be in front of him. Many years of grudges, many years of hard work, finally realized at this moment. He must deal with Zhao Xiaodong, no matter what. At this moment, to Qi Wentian, even the entire Immortal Mountain couldn't compare to Zhao Xiaodong alone. This guy is crazy. Wang Zhong's face was ugly. Originally, he used the limitless sword art, and his strength was about the same as Qi Wentian. However, he didn't expect the other party to have this trump card. Puchi. Qi Wentian's energy turned into a giant sword and slashed down. This move was actually exactly the same as the heaven-destroying general of the Ghost Sword Mountain. Limitless sword art. Wang Zhong tried to block the attack, but he was still sent flying. I didn't expect that even after using the limitless sword art, I still can't beat him. Wang Zhong's heart was like dead ashes. Qi Wentian walked over slowly. Zhao Xiaodong, don't resist. I can promise to protect your family for 200 years. Even Ziru, I will let her go and retire at home. I won't surrender. Ziru gritted her teeth and shouted, Zhao Xiaodong, don't worry about me. Wang Zhong didn't say anything on the surface, but in fact, he was communicating with the limitless sword in his heart. Limitless sword, my greatest enemy in this life is right in front of me, and that is Qi Wentian. You should know him. What to do, what to do. In his heart, an old figure gradually appeared. Wentian. The old figure leisurely shouted. The voice was endless, almost echoing throughout the entire mountain. Wentian. A disciple who was sleeping soundly suddenly woke up. Who is calling for the mountain lord? What happened to the mountain chieftain? Let's go and take a look. One disciple after another approached, but before they could get close, they were blocked by the sound barrier. Master! Qi Wentian was stunned. It had been many years since his master ascended to immortality, but his voice from back then was still ringing in his ears. The voice seemed to contain a tremendous amount of energy. Tang Qi, Hao Qi, and even Ziru were immediately injured and fainted. Only Wang Zhong, who was in the middle, was fine. Then, a figure slowly emerged from the infinite sword. Master, is that you? It's me, Wentian, your youngest disciple, Wentian. Qi Wentian called out, You've become an immortal and returned, but why didn't you give your disciples the legacy of becoming an immortal? Why? After so many years, you still haven't found the way to become an immortal. Disciple doesn't know. Disciple and senior sister Zhang Han have worked hard on our cultivation techniques. Our cultivation has reached the peak, but we have never been able to grasp the secret method to become immortals. Sigh. The path to immortal ascension? Actually, I don't know either. The old man shook his head. Master, you're lying. You've already become an immortal. Master didn't lie to you. Back then, Master died of old age. This is a soul that Master left behind for the Immortal Mountain. When the Immortal Mountain is in trouble, I will appear. But I didn't expect that the greatest danger would come from you. The old man said. Died of old age. Qi Wentian was stunned. That's right. The so-called immortal ascension is to die of old age. The physical body is a mortal body. If you want to go to the immortal world, you must have a soul body. So, as long as disciple dies, I can go to the immortal world? Qi Wentian asked. Yes and no. What do you mean? You've killed too many people. In order to seek longevity, you drank blood and stole spiritual roots. Your soul body is no longer you. Even if you die, you can only become a lonely soul and can't become an immortal. The old voice said. How can this be? Qi Wentian was stunned and couldn't believe it. Where are the others? Why don't I see Xiongba and LV Kai? In order to become an immortal, Xiongba sacrificed all the people of the famous countries. LV Kai is about the same in Hui dynasty. At this point, Wang Zhong seemed to understand. It turned out that these people were all Gao Dongtian's disciples. Back then, Gao Dongtian was the mountain lord of the immortal mountain. He didn't take in many disciples, only a few dozen. Back then, Gao Dongtian became an immortal. In fact, the so-called immortal ascension was just dying of old age. But he did become an immortal. It was just that this immortal ascension was just a soul body. But Gao Dongtian died at that time, leaving behind a remnant soul in the limitless sword, sealed in the Ghost Sword Mountain. Therefore, these disciples didn't know what the path to immortal ascension was like. So they all chose to extend their lifespans and worked hard to find a way to immortal ascension. But who knew that their path was already crooked? The path to immortal ascension was actually very simple. They just needed to die of old age. Now that they had killed too many people, their souls were no longer pure. Although they could barely extend their lifespans, it was useless. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha, Qi Wentian, who knew the truth, cried. Liar master, you're lying. Qi Wentian didn't believe it. With that said, Qi Wentian looked at Wang Zhong ferociously. Zhao Xiaodong, when I take over your body, I will definitely be able to find the path to immortal ascension. Wentian, you are my favorite disciple. Don't be stubborn. The old voice shook his head and sighed. All these years, I vaguely felt that something was wrong with you. But on account of our previous master-disciple relationship, Master never made a move. But this time, the immortal mountain cannot be destroyed in your hands. Master, I respect you, but I want to become an immortal. Qi Wentian said word by word. So, I, your disciple, really can't be obedient this time. With that said, he mercilessly slashed at Wang Zhong. But just as Wang Zhong wanted to block, the old man stretched out a finger in the air. Puff! Light shot out from his fingertip and pierced through Qi Wentian's heart. Qi Wentian retreated and fell to the ground, looking at the starry sky blankly. Master, you are still as powerful as before. Qi Wentian said leisurely. No. The old man shook his head slightly. Your talent is not inferior to mine. Your cultivation has been cultivating here for hundreds of years. In fact, you are already stronger than me. Then why am I still unable to withstand your finger? Qi Wentian said, unable to figure it out. Because this is an all-out attack of my soul power. After this attack, I will also dissipate. Master, why don't you help me? I am already helping you, stopping you from killing again. But Qi Wentian still wanted to say something, but he already couldn't say it. He could only vaguely see the scene of the past in the starry sky. A tall middle-aged man looked at him picking up trash. At that time, he was picking up trash while crying. Child, what is your name? The middle-aged man asked. Who are you? Qi Wentian asked timidly. Gao Dongtian. Gao Dongtian. I don't know. Go away. Where are your parents? My parents were killed. My house was robbed by my uncle. Qi Wentian said, feeling wronged. Follow me in the future. Learn martial arts from me and avenge your parents. In a flash, 10 years had passed. Qi Wentian had grown up. He and senior sister Zhang Han fell in love and walked together. In the Immortal Mountain, eldest senior brother Xiongba was arrogant and unreasonable. The junior brothers and sisters were most afraid of him. But Xiong Ba was most afraid of his master, Gao Dongtian. Gao Dongtian always said that eldest senior brother Xiong Ba was impatient and easily went astray. He had to be taught a lesson. For this, he often spurred him. Second senior brother LV Kai was good at literature and martial arts. He came from the Hui dynasty and traveled outside all year round. At that time, although the senior brothers and sisters fought, their relationship was very good. However, time passed like a shuttle. Gao Dongtian was old. The disciples had grown up. They were all searching for the path to immortality. Gao Dongtian often sighed. He had cultivated until now, but he still couldn't find the path to immortality. In the last few years, Gao Dongtian left the immortal mountain. His last words were, "Since I am going to die, I will go home and take a look and protect my family." After Gao Dongtian left, he never returned. Only they stayed in the immortal mountain. Chapter 208. Actually, Gao Dongtian himself didn't know that after he left, he never returned. A few years later, Gao Dongtian died of old age. The people of Gao village saw with their own eyes that Gao Dongtian's soul turned into a golden light and floated into the night sky. Gao Dongtian became an immortal. The disciples headed to Gao village. Hearing this, Qi Wentian, Xiong Ba, LV Kai, Zhang Han and the other disciples were all excited. They felt that after cultivating to Gao Dongtian's realm, he would definitely become an immortal. However, things didn't go as they wished. As their lifespans came to an end, they still didn't know the path to immortality. They were afraid of death. In order to fight for control of the immortal mountain, the disciples started to fight among themselves. Qi Wentian and Zhang Han stood together. They were strong enough to force Xiong Ba and LV Kai away. Xiong Ba was originally the ruler of a famous country. After returning to his country, he cultivated bitterly and finally started the path of evil cultivation. After all, LV Kai was a cultured person. He adopted a breeding method to fool the people of his country and created a huge lie. Those with high spiritual roots lived longer. Those with low spiritual roots were picked by the ghost babies he raised and used for his own cultivation. Qi Wentian's eyes became dimmer and dimmer. Bits and pieces of the past flashed before his eyes like a fleeting view of flowers. He respected his master the most, loved Zhang Han the most, feared Xiong Ba the most, and had a low relationship with LV Kai. This time, if it wasn't for Xiong Ba's lifespan coming to an end, he wouldn't be able to fight evenly with Xiong Ba. As for the other senior brothers and sisters, some had already died of old age, some couldn't stand their actions and left. No one knew where they went. But no matter where they went, so many years had passed, these people were definitely not in this world anymore. Sigh, did I really do something wrong? Qi Wentian sighed in his heart. He realized that he was really going to die, and his mood calmed down instead. Death wasn't scary, what was scary was the unknown of death. Zhao Xiaodong, Qi Wentian suddenly called out. I'm here. Wang Zhong said calmly. A dying man's words were kind. Wang Zhong was prepared to give him a chance to say his last words. I'm sorry. Qi Wentian said, help me say sorry to the other disciples. Wang Zhong nodded silently. I understand. When I die, help me be buried with your master's wife. Actually, back then, your master's wife didn't agree with me killing people, but she loved me too much. That's why she was like this. In her remaining days, please treat her well. I promise you. This request was not difficult. Zhang Han was indeed not dead, but he did not have any strength to resist. Yes. Also, the evil creature forest is actually a place where your masteress and I subdued the tree demon to stop ordinary cultivators. If you have my token, the tree demon will let you go. You have received Master's legacy. From now on, you are the master of this immortal mountain. You are in charge here. Do your best to pass down the legacy. Qi Wentian trembled as he took out the mountain chieftain command medallion from his bosom. It fell powerlessly to the ground, and he shouted out his last words. From today onwards, the mountain chieftain of the Immortal Mountain will be under Zhao Xiaodong's control. His voice traveled far, far away. As for Qi Wentian, he had already closed his eyes. Rest in peace. Wang Zhong looked at Qi Wentian's corpse and picked up the mountain chieftain command medallion. Gao Dongtian's remnant soul had not left yet. He looked at Wang Zhong and said, "How did you receive my legacy?" Wang Zhong told him about the incident at Huichao, as well as the incident at Bai Shueching, Gao Jinren, and the Gao village. Hearing this, Gao Dongtian let out a long sigh. "I painstakingly protected my family, but I didn't expect that because of me, my family would be destroyed." Wang Zhong nodded. In fact, strictly speaking, when the Gao village was destroyed, some people escaped. For example, Gao Jinren's elders. Otherwise, Gao Jinren would not have received Gao Dongtian's legacy. After knowing this, Gao Dongtian said, "There is no need to mention the past. Now that I am about to disappear, do not make the same mistake as Wentian. This world has changed too much from when I left. You can live for at least 200 years. I leave it to you." "Got it," Wang Zhong said. Gao Dongtian's figure gradually disappeared. What? The Mountain Master made senior brother Zhao the Mountain Master. The Mountain Master's injuries have flared up, and he has died. How could this be? Early the next morning, the gossip about the Immortal Mountain spread. However, those who knew the inside story knew how dangerous it was last night. It could be said that if Zhao Xiaodong did not receive the legacy of the Limitless Sword, the Immortal Mountain would still be the same as before, secretly killing the disciples. However, Wang Zhong, Tang Qi, Hao Qi, Hua Ying, and the others chose to hide the secrets inside. Qi Wentian and a group of elders were secretly killed by them. They were already dead, but the living still had to live. In order to unite the feelings of the disciples of the Immortal Mountain and not let their hearts scatter, these secrets had to be hidden. 7 days later, Qi Wentian was officially buried at the peak of the Immortal Mountain. As for Zhang Han, Wang Zhong originally planned to find 2 maids from the foot of the mountain to take care of her. However, he did not expect that on the first day of Qi Wentian's burial, Zhang Han would kill herself with a knife that night. Wang Zhong was not familiar with the character of his master's wife. However, he could tell that Zhang Han loved Qi Wentian very much. After that, Wang Zhong fulfilled Qi Wentian's last wish and buried them together. A month later, Wang Zhong officially became the Mountain Lord of the Immortal Mountain, unifying the Immortal Mountain. At the same time, he also let people spread the news that the so-called immortal was actually dying of old age. Only by dying of old age could one step onto the Supreme Tao. Time passed day by day. 3 months later, everything on the Immortal Mountain was finally on track. "Xiaodong, it's almost the end of the year. Let's go home and take a look when we have time." At night, Ziru and Wang Zhong lay together and asked gently, "Okay." Wang Zhong said and touched her. However, just like before, Ziru refused and mumbled, "My cultivation has not recovered yet. I can't." "Is that so?" Also, when I was captured at that time, although Zhang Han took over my body, she and Qi Wentian slept in separate beds. Ziru explained. Because she was once possessed, her cultivation had not recovered. If they slept together, it would be very harmful to her body. Because of this, there was nothing between her and Qi Wentian. Wang Zhong did not say anything and did not ask. Ziru was worried that he would mind. "All right, let's pack up and go back." After thinking for a while, Wang Zhong said, "Also, we have to liberate Huichao and let the people there know the truth and overthrow State Preceptor LV Kai." Finally, it was the end of the year. After Wang Zhong gave some instructions to the disciples, he left with Ziru. When they went down the mountain, Hao Qi, Tang Qi, Gu Li, and the others followed them. These people were here to see them off. After so many years, things had changed at the foot of the mountain. "Is this the restaurant you worked in back then?" Ziru asked curiously. Everyone came to the entrance of Shen Cici's restaurant. Although many things on both sides of the street had changed, only this place was the same as before. However, although the environment was the same, the business here was different. People came and went, and business seemed to be good. Who wants the extra buns from last night? At this time, Shen Sisi came out with the buns. Me, me, me. Me, me, me. One by one, the beggars hurried over. Shen Sisi had just put down the buns when she was stunned. It was actually Zhao Xiaodong. In fact, the news that the master of the Immortal Mountain was Zhao Xiaodong had already spread throughout the region. However, Shen Sisi did not dare to believe that the child who used to live on the streets and be helped by them was now the master of the Immortal Mountain. Zhao Xiaodong. Shen Sisi was stunned. Chapter 209. Lady Boss, I trust you've been well since we last met. Wang Zhong smiled. Shen Sisi was still as kind as before. He looked into the room and saw that his 2 sons were also there. His eldest son seemed to be married. He was carrying a child while his second son was greeting the guests. Master, it's Master. Shi Wangli, who was carrying his son, exclaimed. Wangli, is this your master? A customer asked. But soon, everyone realized that something was wrong. The people standing behind Wang Zhong were all elders of the Immortal Mountain. Those with good eyesight could tell at a glance that these people were the upper echelons of the Immortal Mountain. Greetings, elders of the Immortal Mountain. Someone hurriedly bowed. Greetings. One by one they bowed. This time, Shen Sisi and the others were embarrassed. Wang Zhong said helplessly, You don't have to be so polite. I, Zhao Xiaodong, am just passing by an old friend's place. Back then, I was stranded in Boss Shen's house. She was the one who helped me. This time, I came down the mountain to catch up with her. Zhao Xiaodong? When everyone heard that, their expressions changed drastically. Wasn't this the current master of the Immortal Mountain? It was rumored that after the previous master, Qi Wentian, died, he passed the position to a person named Zhao Xiaodong. Looking at the position where this person was standing, it was clearly the center of this group of people. Oh my God, it was really the master of the Immortal Mountain. Master. Shi Wangli ran over. It's been a long time. I haven't forgotten the cooking skills you taught me at all. He, very good. Is this your son? Yes. He was just born a few days ago. I'm not educated, so I can't think of a name. Since Master is here, please give him a name, Shi Wangli said. All right then. It was fate that brought them together. Wang Zhong naturally wouldn't be stingy. After thinking for a while, he said, Let's call him Shi Xianshan. I hope he can come to the Immortal Mountain in the future. His name was actually very casual. However, Wang Zhong's current identity was different. For a moment, Shi Wangli said excitedly, Shi Xianshan, good name. The people around them were envious. This was a name personally given by the master of the Immortal Mountain. This Shi Xian Mountain would most likely prosper in the future. Wang Zhong and his men ate something nearby before leaving the city. Everyone, let's go back. Wang Zhong said to Tang Qi and the others. Yes. Mountain Chieftain. I hope you don't slack off on your cultivation. I will defeat you sooner or later. Tang Qi said expressionlessly. He was still a martial arts fanatic and was constantly thinking of ways to defeat Wang Zhong. Wang Zhong smiled but didn't say anything. Hua Ying and Gu Li stood together. It could be seen that although Duan Yaya was dead, Gu Li and Hua Ying were together. To Gu Li, Hua Ying was Duan Yaya's best friend. Hua Ying had Duan Yaya's shadow on her. To Hua Ying, she and Gu Li had gone through hardships together. As the saying goes, a friend in need is a friend indeed. The two of them naturally walked together. Mountain Lord, when will you be back? Gu Li asked. In a few days. In the meantime, do as I say. Hui Chao, we will liberate that place sooner or later, Wang Zhong said. Understood. Everyone said in unison. Let's go. There's no need to send us off. Wang Zhong turned and left. He hadn't been home for many years. He wondered how his family was doing. On the way, Wang Zhong thought to himself, I wonder how Auntie Zhu is doing? After walking for a while, the little flower demon popped out of his arms. Back then, I asked her to go back and report that she was safe. After that, I asked her to rest nearby. She has been fine. Let me try calling her. Wang Zhong said and took out the soul that imprisoned Auntie Zhu. After calling her, he waited for a while. From afar, he saw a big fat pig running out of the forest. She's not in the city? Ziru asked curiously. Master, master. Auntie Zhu ran quickly. Fortunately, there was no one around. She wasn't afraid of making a big deal out of it. Auntie Zhu, why are you in the forest? Wang Zhong asked. I'm not used to being in the city. I've been wandering in the forest. Auntie Zhu said. During this period of time, Auntie Zhu's cultivation level had risen. However, this made her more and more afraid of Wang Zhong. The reason was simple. In the past, she could barely figure out Wang Zhong's cultivation level. Now, it was unfathomable. She felt that Wang Zhong could kill her in one breath. It was too terrifying. It was better to be a lackey. Okay, let's go. The group began their return journey. On the way, Auntie Zhu told Ziru about her family. After all, she would go back every year. I went back at the end of last year. Miss Ziru, your parents are doing well. They even treated me to a lot of fish and meat, Auntie Zhu said. That's good. I'm an unfilial daughter. I've been away for so many years. They must miss me very much. Wang Zhong said, it won't happen in the future. It will be much easier after we subdue the evil creature forest. Okay. By the way, where are my parents? Wang Zhong asked. They're doing well. Although there are still evil creatures outside the city, they're much better now. Auntie Zhu said honestly. As for the Lu family village, it's also doing well. I saw Miss Lu Hua. She even asked me to tell you to go back early. Ziru rolled her eyes at Wang Zhong and said, You have quite a lot of women outside. No, they were earlier than you. Ziru thought about it. It seemed to be true. In that case, she still took advantage of him. When she thought about how ugly she was back then, Wang Zhong still wanted her. She felt very happy. What did this mean? He had taken a liking to her heart. However, what made her depressed was that after she became beautiful, Zhao Xiaodong always wanted her. It was really annoying. Was this the legendary, beautiful woman's body is tired? Everyone had their own thoughts and finally arrived at the evil creature forest. Without hesitation, Wang Zhong walked in. According to Qi Wentian, the evil creature forest was actually his masterpiece. It was to stop people from Hui Chao and Ming Guo. The reason for doing so was actually very simple. He cultivated and chose the disciples with the most outstanding spirit roots. However, these two countries were different from him. Qi Wentian was also afraid of trouble. If people from these two countries fled here, he would inevitably have to take action. Therefore, he simply created the evil creature forest. No one could control each other. This method was simple and crude, but it was extremely effective. Things had actually been operating according to his plan. Now that he was powerful, Wang Zhong easily arrived at the center of the evil creature forest. Rustle, rustle. The tree roots in the forest were like spirit snakes, slowly moving. Wang Zhong looked at his surroundings. Under the powerful force of the energy, his senses were extremely sharp. In front of him, demonic aura soared to the sky. I am the new mountain master of the immortal mountain, Zhao Xiaodong. Wang Zhong took out the token Qi Wentian gave him. Tree demon, quickly come and see your master. Rustle, rustle. Very quickly, a dark figure ran out. This person's body was pitch black. When he came over, his expression changed greatly. Why is it you? Where is master? He is already dead. I am now the master of the immortal mountain. Wang Zhong shouted. What? Master is dead? Wang Zhong handed over the token. The tree demon checked it, and a voice came out. From today onwards, the mountain master of the immortal mountain will be Zhao Xiaodong. The tree demon's expression changed, and he hurriedly said respectfully, Greetings, mountain master. Wang Zhong nodded. He originally thought that this tree demon would use its strength to cause trouble, such as not being willing to obey. Now it seemed that he was overthinking. This tree demon was quite tactful. From today onwards, you can return to the immortal mountain. There is no need to guard this evil creature forest anymore. Let people come and go. Do you understand? Wang Zhong issued his first order. Chapter 210. The tree demon was puzzled. Mountain Lord, why are you doing this? In the past, we didn't want people from both sides to interact with each other. But it will be different in the future. I hope that you will take the initiative to help others when they are in trouble. Wang Zhong threw a bottle of spiritual root liquid to the tree demon. This is your reward. Remove the evil creature forest. From today onwards, the evil creature forest will cease to exist. Yes. The tree demon nodded. In the past, the evil creature forest existed because the famous countries, immortal mountains, and Hui Chao all acknowledged the existence of the evil creature forest. But it was different now. The tree demon could foresee that the world would change greatly in the future. On this day, the Iron Sand City was decorated with lanterns and banners. The reason was simple. The son-in-law and daughter who had been away for many years had returned. Zi Nanshan and Lu Yen decided to hold a banquet for the guests. When the guests came in and saw Zi Ru's fair skin and beautiful face, they were all stunned. What's going on? Among the guests, Zi Ru's fiancée, Mao Feng, was stunned. Was this still the fiancée that he despised in the past? She was so beautiful now. A sense of regret filled his heart. But it was too late to say anything now. He was the one who wanted to separate. He could only come to Wang Zhong and said bitterly, Brother Zhao, I didn't expect you to be the one who married Zi Ru. Yes, after that day at the restaurant, Zi Ru and I hit it off. Speaking of which, it's all thanks to you. Wang Zhong smiled and raised his wine cup. I'll drink first. Well, let's do it. Mao Feng sighed. The two of them only stayed here for 7 days. After that, they rushed to Snow City without stopping. During this period, no one mentioned that their lifespan was no longer short. This was the result of Wang Zhong's careful consideration. The reason was simple. Hui Chao was still under the control of the state preceptor, Lu Kai. The secret of the spiritual root could not be revealed to others. They had to wait for the right time. Snow City had not been seen for many years. The city walls were still stained with dark red blood. This was the mark left behind by the corpse tide that attacked Snow City. After so many years, it still had not faded. The auspicious inn was the same as before. Business was still booming. However, when the guests talked about Zhao Dahai's son, Zhao Xiaodong, they all sighed. Zhao Xiaodong must have died outside. The customers looked at Lin Wu, who was busy at the counter, and shook their heads and sighed. Lin Wu's spiritual root was very high and her lifespan was very long, but she married Zhao Xiaodong, who had a short lifespan. However, he didn't expect that Zhao Xiaodong would leave right after the two of them got married. He hadn't returned for so many years. He must have died outside. What are you guys talking about? At this time, Lin Wu's eyes narrowed as she walked over. She heard the guests whispering. That's nothing. Let me tell you, Xiaodong is very powerful. He won't die. Lin Wu snorted and turned to leave. Zhao Dahai sighed as he watched from behind. These years, although there was Aunt Zhu who reported Zhao Xiaodong's safety every year, they didn't see him after all. They couldn't make up their minds. As the years passed, Lin Wu also grew up. They couldn't let this girl stay there forever. What should they do? He even decided that when Auntie Zhu came over this year, no matter what, he would go with her to see Little Dong. Just as the guests were discussing animatedly, son Dainyu ran in a panic. Dainyu, why aren't you taking care of your meat stall? Why are you running here? Zhao Dehai couldn't help but scold. Uncle Zhao, if you listen to my next sentence, you might not scold me. You might even treat me to a drink. Son Dainyu hurriedly said. F***CKU. No matter what you say, I'll treat you to a drink. Tui. Zhao Dehai was already in a bad mood. His attitude towards Sun Dainyu became even worse. Unexpectedly, Sun Dainyu wasn't angry. Instead, he smiled and looked at Zhao Xiaodong, who was gradually walking in. Your son Zhao Xiaodong is back. I'm here to tell you the good news. What? Zhao Dehai was stunned. When he saw Wang Zhong walking in from afar, he was overjoyed. Good. I'll treat you to a drink. Zhao Xiaodong was back. In an instant, the neighbors all knew. Wang Zhong introduced Zhao Dehai to Ziru. Zhao Dehai sighed inwardly. This was also a daughter-in-law. As expected, she was as beautiful as Lin Wu. Naturally, he liked her. However, after spending so much time with Lin Wu, he naturally sided with Lin Wu as his daughter-in-law. Then, he quickly pulled Wang Zhong to the side and said, Xiao Wu was angry just now. Go and comfort her. You haven't seen her for so many years. You have to be good. Wang Zhong nodded and then asked Ziru to go into the house to rest. He went in alone. Lin Wu looked at the empty house alone and sighed. Xiao Dong hadn't come back. She suspected that he was dead. However, every year, Aunt Zhu would come over to let her know that Wang Zhong was still alive. But if he wasn't dead, why didn't he come back for the new year? She really couldn't figure it out. The more she thought about it, the more aggrieved she felt. She was so sad that tears were about to fall. At this moment, the door was pushed open. Xiao Wu. Wang Zhong smiled and looked at Lin Wu. Lin Wu, who was wiping her tears, was stunned. I'm not dreaming, am I? But this dream is so real. What's going on? Xiao Dong. Xiao Wu, I'm back. You're really back. I'm not dreaming, am I? Of course not. Boo-hoo. To Wang Zhong's surprise, Lin Wu didn't fly over. Instead, she cried and pushed Wang Zhong out. This? Xiao Wu, you haven't come back for so long. You don't have to come back. I don't have to worry about you. Wang Zhong sighed. He knew that Xiao Wu was angry at him. This was not surprising. After all, he had left for so many years. The person he felt most sorry for was Lin Wu. Xiao Wu, open the door. It's my fault, Wang Zhong said. No. Listen to me. I don't want to listen. Then I won't explain. Humph, you haven't come back for so long. Why don't you explain, Wang Zhong? At this time, Wang Zhong finally understood. It seemed that he could only use force if the soft approach didn't work. Since you're not opening the door, it means that you don't welcome me. I'm leaving. Lin Wu waited at the door for a while. There was no movement outside? Did he really leave? All of a sudden, Lin Wu was anxious. She was just throwing a tantrum with Zhao Xiaodong. Why did he really leave? Why was Zhao Xiaodong so stupid? She quickly opened the door and saw Wang Zhong standing at the door with a smile. You lied to me. Before Lin Wu could finish, Wang Zhong blocked her way, closed the door, and carried her to the bed. To deal with a tantrum, sleeping for a while was enough. If it still didn't work, it meant that the posture was not good. A silent day. Chapter 2:11. In the evening, Lin Wu woke up panting. Wang Zhong told her everything that had happened in the past few years, no matter how big or small. He told her everything in detail. Originally, Lin Wu was very angry. But after hearing so many dangers, she understood that Zhao Xiaodong did not leave here to play. He had experienced so much. But in the end, what made Lin Wu happy was that Zhao Xiaodong really succeeded. He was no longer a short-lived person. The only thing that made him unhappy was that he actually found a wife, Ziru. But she also understood that Ziru had gone through thick and thin with him, so he naturally could not let her down. In the evening, the family ate happily. At night, Wang Zhong, Ziru, and Lin Wu began to talk together. Now that the treacherous officials of the Hui dynasty are in power, fooling the people. Who knows how many people are separated from their families? I have decided to overthrow the Hui dynasty, Wang Zhong said bluntly. He was now full of confidence. With the Immortal Mountain as his backing, the high-level combat power was definitely enough. Next was to prepare the troops and make guns and cannons. When the time was right, he would raise his arm and shout, telling the many crimes of the current emperor and the state preceptor. It could be imagined that overthrowing the Hui dynasty would be much easier. Ziru and Lin Wu naturally agreed with Wang Zhong's idea. After all, they had seen many people with low spiritual roots die for no reason since they were young. Next, Wang Zhong began to plan. First of all, as before, he began to let the blacksmiths make iron pipes and gun stocks. Especially gunpowder, he bought it for free. The area in the city was limited. Such a large-scale production would definitely attract attention. Therefore, Wang Zhong had long thought about it. These things were placed in the Lu family village. 2 days before the new year, the Lu family village was decorated with lanterns and streamers. The villagers were happy and harmonious. It had been a long time since they were this happy. Ever since Zhao Xiaodong and Lu Hua had dealt with the village chief and the great master, everyone's days had become much better. The most gratifying thing was that Zhao Xiaodong's disciples in the village had all grown up over the years. Not only did those with low spiritual roots not die, but they had all become cultivators, slaying demons and devils around the village. Over the years, there were fewer and fewer evil creatures around the village. This year, the people in the village had reclaimed the surrounding wasteland and had a great harvest. Therefore, everyone was decorated with lanterns and colored banners in preparation for the new year. However, compared to the happiness of the villagers, Lu Hua was sullen. Zhao Xiaodong had left for so many years. Why hadn't he returned yet? Mother. At this time, a little girl ran over timidly. Grandma said it's time to eat. Oh, I know. Lu Hua gently patted the little girl's head. Zhao Zhiruo, what did Grandma cook today? I cooked tang yuan. Tang yuan. Lu Hua sighed. The family wanted to be reunited, but Zhao Xiaodong was not around. At this time, there was a commotion outside the village. Many villagers were walking over. Lu Hua was attracted by the noise outside the door. Then, she saw Li Wang rushing over. Li Wang, what's going on outside? Lu Hua asked. Master. Master is back. Li Wang was Wang Zhong's eldest disciple in this village. Therefore, when he saw Wang Zhong return, he immediately ran over to report the news. What? Lu Hua was eating tang yuan. Her delicate body trembled, and she almost choked to death. She quickly coughed a few times and ran out. Soon, she saw Zhao Xiaodong, Ziru, and Lin Wu coming over. Lu Hua. Wang Zhong smiled from afar. However, soon, Wang Zhong was stunned. This was because he saw a little girl of a few years old beside Lu Hua. She had a ponytail and looked very similar to him. This is Zhiruo, your father is back. Lu Hua carried the child over. My child. Wang Zhong was stunned. Yes, this is your child. On the day you left, you forgot about us. Lu Hua said embarrassedly. Wang Zhong thought back for a while, before suddenly remembering that a few days before he left, he was too excited to leave his body. Then, sigh, I can only blame my poor driving skills. However, this was a pleasant surprise. You and your daughter have suffered all these years, Wang Zhong said. As long as you don't have to worry. Let's talk inside. Then, Wang Zhong asked a few disciples to ask the villagers to leave. They began to chat. For the next few days, Wang Zhong stayed in the Lu family village. For the sake of convenience, he began to build a house next to Lu Hua's house. In addition, he asked the blacksmiths to send the iron pipes over. Then, he asked the carpenters to make gun stocks. The vigorous gun-making operation had begun. All of this was carried out in a tight schedule. In addition to Lu Hua's house, Wang Zhong also set up a stronghold in the Gaojia village. All the weapons he made were hidden there for the purpose of attacking the city. After tidying up Snow City, Wang Zhong rushed to Iron Sand City without stopping. The quality of the iron here was higher. Wang Zhong spent a lot of money to buy a large piece of land outside the city. He told the public that it was for farming, but secretly, he asked the blacksmiths to make a lot of steel cannons. Soon, there was a shortage of manpower, but it didn't matter. A few months later, the elders and powerful disciples of the Immortal Mountain sneaked in one by one and began to search for insightful people to overthrow Hui Chao. Everything was carried out in a tight schedule. 2 years later, Wang Zhong had strongholds in Snow City, Iron Sand City, and several cities near these two cities. Especially in Snow City and Iron Sand City, they each organized a large force of 5,000 people and were stationed in the nearby villages. At the same time, the masters in these cities finally noticed these changes. For the past year, there has been an army outside the city. On the surface, they look like farmers, but they are actually training, and their numbers are increasing. On this day, Master Wu of Snow City heard the report of City Lord Zhou Yong early in the morning. For a moment, his face became gloomy. Thousands of people gathered together and training. Isn't this the beginning of a rebellion? Master Wu slammed the table. Who is so bold? Who started it? I don't know for now, but the strange thing is that many people in this group have short lifespans, Zhou Yong said. They have short lifespans? Yes, all of them have less than 5 years to live. Our spies investigated this very clearly. What's more shocking is that there are a few people who have obviously exceeded their lifespans, but they are still alive. Now, there are rumors outside that the leader of this army is a powerful cultivator who can keep people with short lifespans alive. Zhou Yong's words made Master Wu and Master White's faces change dramatically. Others might not know, but the two of them were cultivators, so they naturally knew. The so-called people with short lifespans were just a huge scam. And now, this scam was exposed, and the person who exposed it was leading these people. He could imagine that once the scam was known by everyone, the fate of these masters would be very miserable. No, I have to report this to the Emperor. No. It's too late. I have to get rid of these people as soon as possible. Zhou Yong immediately arranged for the guide team, soldiers, and constables to eliminate the rebels. Yes. Zhou Yong was just about to leave when the leader of the guide team, Zhou Mu, walked in. Behind Zhou Mu were a few subordinates. Leader Zhou, why are you here? Master Wu looked unhappy. I didn't ask you to come in. Haha, I don't plan to see you either. You dare not kneel when you see me? Not only will you not kneel, I will also kill you. Zhou Mu snorted coldly. You and the state preceptor deceived the world and killed countless people with low spirit roots. Now, the world will know about such a big lie. Today, I will take your head. Chapter 212. Ahaha. Hearing Zhou Mu's words, Master Wu laughed. Zhou Mu, I'm afraid you don't know the difference between cultivators and mortals. Of course we know. The one who spoke was a man beside Zhou Mu. He raised his head, and City Lord Zhou Yong was stunned. Zhao Xiaodong. Zhou Yong had naturally seen Zhao Xiaodong before. When the corpse tide ended, Zhou Mu even spoke up for Zhao Xiaodong and Lu Hua to get more rewards. Wang Zhong smiled. They really don't know the difference between cultivators and mortals, but you don't know the difference between cultivators and cultivators either. Looking at Zhao Xiaodong, Master Wu and Master White looked like they were facing a great enemy. Training the army outside the city is your masterpiece? That's right. Good, good. Give me your life. Master Wu instantly exploded. However, in the next moment, Wang Zhong stretched out his hand, and a burst of energy gushed out. Wang Zhong's hand didn't even touch the other party, and the energy completely suppressed Master Wu. Puff! Master Wu was slammed to the ground, and all the bones in his body were broken. Master White was a little weaker, and his head was separated from his body. From today onwards, Snow City no longer belongs to Hui Dynasty, but to the Celestial Dynasty, Wang Zhong shouted. Zhou Yong was so scared that he knelt on the ground. Long live the Emperor! Wang Zhong nodded in satisfaction. This city lord Zhou Yong was just a mortal, and everything he did was just following the orders of the two masters. Now was the time to use people, and this person was still very useful. Zhou Yong, I'll spare your life, but from today onwards, you're no longer responsible for Hui Dynasty. Tell me all the resources and personnel in the city, I need to know. Also, make some preparations later. I want to announce to the world that the current emperor is heartless and has conspired with the state preceptor to deceive the world. They think that those with low spirit roots have a short lifespan. This is a huge scam. The purpose is to kill those with low spirit roots so that the state preceptor, LV Kai, can absorb their energy for cultivation. LV Kai is a heretical cultivator. All of the Grand Masters are heretical cultivators. Zhou Yong didn't dare to say anything at this moment. He nodded his head shakily and shouted, "Yes, sir." Wang Zhong issued the order, and the people who knew the truth shed tears. Down with the Grand Master. Defeat Imperial Tutor LV Kai. Down. The people on the street were excited. Wang Zhong knew that as the lie was exposed, the end of Hui Chao had arrived. Almost at the same time, revolts broke out in Iron Sand City and two other cities. Under the leadership of the disciples of the Immortal Mountain, the grandmasters of these cities were captured alive, and all the soldiers surrendered. At first, Wang Zhong thought that there would be some resistance from these people, but he didn't expect the plan to go so smoothly. These soldiers didn't surrender. On the contrary, when they heard that Wang Zhong's people had a way to let those with low spirit roots continue to live, they were all excited. They all began to lead the way for the people of Hui Chao. The battle was like a hot knife through butter. In just half a year, 2/3 of Hui Chao's territory was occupied by Wang Zhong. The other cities that were not occupied were also in a state of panic. Some grandmasters escaped in the night, the city lord surrendered, and the soldiers cheered in unison to welcome the Immortal Mountain. Welcome the Immortal Mountain. A year later, Wang Zhong led the army and surrounded the imperial city of Hui Chao. This time, they had surrounded the city for 7 days. In fact, if they wanted to attack, Wang Zhong could use the cannons and the people inside wouldn't be able to defend at all. However, Wang Zhong didn't want to do that. Those ordinary people were innocent. If he killed State Preceptor LV Kai and the Emperor, everyone would surrender. Still not surrendering? Wang Zhong led the people of the Immortal Mountain to the entrance of the Imperial City. Reporting to the Mountain Lord, the generals inside are stubborn and have sworn to protect the city walls. Without your orders, we don't dare to attack rashly. Hao Qi, who was in charge of the attack, said, "Well then, blast open the door." Wang Zhong casually waved his hand. After waiting for so long, he was not prepared to wait any longer. In addition, he wanted to let the world see how powerful his cannons were. Now, not only was he incomparably powerful in the cultivation world, but even in the secular world, he not only had the most people, but also the most powerful weapons and equipment. Yes. Hao Qi nodded and waved his hand. Cannon fire! Boom boom boom! One by one, the cannonballs were fired. Bang! The city gate and the city wall were blown open. Hao Qi waved his hand. Kill! Kill! Countless soldiers rushed out. At this time, the people in the city had completely lost their confidence and surrendered. When Wang Zhong brought his people to the palace, he was stunned. In the large palace, there was no one but corpses all over the ground. These corpses had been dried up long ago. No one knew how long they had been dead. How could this be? The people who came in with him were also stunned. When they came to the imperial court, they saw a skeleton sitting on the dragon throne. It seemed to have been dead for decades. They're dead. The people in the palace have actually died a long time ago. Wang Zhong understood. The imperial preceptor had been in chaos for many years and finally did whatever he wanted. The people in the imperial court were also killed by him in the end. However, because the imperial preceptor's power was monstrous, the emperor here, in fact, had long been a figurehead. Whether he was dead or alive, no one cared at all. That is the imperial preceptor's palace. A sergeant who surrendered in the city pointed to the luxurious palace in front of him and said, "Yes." Wang Zhong walked over with his people. After entering, he found that the palace maids, wives, and children in the palace had all hanged themselves. In front of these corpses, there was only a white-haired old man drinking wine. Although Wang Zhong had never seen the imperial preceptor here, seeing that he was the only one here, Wang Zhong knew that this person was the imperial preceptor who caused chaos in the imperial court, Lv Kai. He was also Qi Wantian's senior brother. "Hey, you're finally here." Lv Kai wiped the wine from his mouth and turned around with a disappointed smile. "Where's my junior brother Qi went in? Since you attacked here, he should be dead, right?" "Yes." Wang Zhong nodded. "Then do you know if he's dead or has become an immortal? The road to immortality is actually very simple, but unfortunately, you can't become an immortal." Wang Zhong said. "How is that possible? I've lived for so long, and my methods are heaven-defying. Even if Qi Wentian stood in front of me, he wouldn't dare to be arrogant." "You're just his disciple, and you dare to say that?" Lv Kai shouted. "Because I have this." Wang Zhong summoned the limitless sword, raised it high and shouted, "Do you recognize it?" "Master." "Master's sword." Lv Kai was stunned. "You've obtained Master's inheritance?" "The road to immortality is actually to die of old age, and then you can go to the immortal world. But you've harmed living creatures to prolong your life. You will never be able to enter the immortal world." "Ha ha ha. Wrong, we were wrong." Lv Kai didn't doubt Wang Zhong's words. Because the moment Wang Zhong took out his sword, he knew that he was no match for him. Would a strong person deceive him? That was obviously impossible. "There's no hope of becoming an immortal, the country is broken, I've let down the world. Pucci." With that, Lv Kai cut his own throat. Dong! His whole body fell into a pool of blood. In front of his eyes, the scene of the past seemed to appear. He didn't like to practice martial arts, and wholeheartedly pursued literature. Therefore, he knew everything from astronomy to geography, and was known as a know-it-all in the Immortal Mountain. Because he didn't like to practice martial arts, he didn't stay in the Immortal Mountain for much time. At that time, he had a great ambition to assist his good friend His Highness the Crown Prince, and make Hui dynasty more prosperous. But things didn't go as he wished. With the death of his master, his cultivation actually didn't advance. Seeing his loved ones die one by one, he was suddenly scared to death. He wanted to become an immortal, so in order to cultivate, he seized those genius spirit roots. In the end, it was he who persuaded the emperor to announce to the world, telling a big lie, and fooling the world. It was all for the sake of their cultivation. Although most people didn't know, there was a force in the dark that resisted them, and that was the light faction. It was just that the light faction's resistance was too weak, and it didn't attract his attention at all. Just like that, the days passed. His good friend the emperor finally didn't want to see the world go on like this, and he raised an objection. Lv Kai steeled his heart and killed everyone in the palace, regardless of gender or age. At that time, he didn't know that because he had killed too many people, he was no longer the respected second disciple of the Immortal Mountain, the know-it-all. Lv Kai died, and Hui dynasty collapsed overnight. On this day, the Immortal Dynasty was officially established. Chapter 213. Although Hui dynasty was easily overthrown, there was still a lot of work to be done. Fortunately, the short-lived people no longer existed. Every family was immersed in joy. Husband, you don't have to die anymore. Yes, I wasn't a short-lived person. I have a very good spiritual root talent. Yes, yes, yes. Let's have a child and send the child to the immortal mountain. Yes, yes. Daughter, you're not a short-lived person. God is protecting us. Yes, mother, I'm going to the immortal mountain. I have a level 2 spiritual root. My talent is considered good. Yes, go. Try to find a good husband there. Scenes of joy played out in every family. 3 months later, an informant in Ming country reported that the sect leader of Ming country survivors, Li Guangming, had brought his disciples to seek refuge. Hearing this news, Wang Zhong was not surprised. During this period, as his power grew, he learned more and more about the inside story of this world. Ming country was actually founded by a disciple of the Immortal Mountain. At that time, the Immortal Mountain was split, Ming country was in trouble, and the people of Hui dynasty were in dire straits. That disciple couldn't stand it anymore, so he founded Ming country. His intention was simple, and that was to hope for the world to see light again. Unfortunately, until the moment of his death, he didn't see light. But at least, he left behind a spark in this world. The people of Ming country had been secretly cultivating their strength to deal with these masters. These years, because too many people had died in Ming country, the Ming country's people were all there. Let Li Guangming come over. Wang Zhong ordered. Soon, an old man with a white beard came over. Li Guangming greets your majesty. You may dispense with the formalities. Wang Zhong nodded. How's the matter in Ming country? Li Guangming immediately began to speak. Only then did Wang Zhong know that Xiongba was dying. Previously, Xiongba and Qi Wentian fought and both of them were injured. But the problem was that Xiongba didn't have much lifespan left. So after returning, even if he collected countless spiritual roots, it was useless to Xiongba. These years, Xiongba had been struggling at death's door. It's about time to deal with the evil cultivators in Ming country. A month later, Wang Zhong led the disciples of the Immortal Mountain and the Radiant Sect to attack Ming Gua. In just 3 months, all the evil cultivators in the villages of the famous country were killed. As for the remaining evil cultivators, they were being strictly searched. As for Wang Zhong, he came to the capital of a famous country. It could be seen that this place used to be very prosperous in the past, but now, the streets were deserted, the houses were dilapidated, and corpses were everywhere. These corpses had already turned into white bones, and no one collected them. This was because the closer one got to the capital, the more people died. These people were all brought to the capital and sacrificed to Xiongba. Xiongba is really ruthless. Wang Zhong shook his head and charged in alone. Xiongba! Wang Zhong shouted. No one responded. After which, Wang Zhong was guided by a palace made to Xiongba's residence. His Majesty hasn't come out for more than half a month. The palace maid trembled. Yes. Wang Zhong nodded and walked in. There was no sign of life in the room. The floor was filled with dirty water and blood, and the stench of corpses. Looking at the bed again, Wang Zhong sighed softly. Livor mortis had already appeared on Xiongba's body. He was long dead. Sigh, Xiongba is dead. Give the order, blow up the capital of the famous country. Yes. There was no need to keep this place. Just let all of this go with the wind. Although he didn't want the place, the historical documents and all sorts of antiques were moved back under Wang Zhong's orders. After which, Wang Zhong learned about the history of the famous country and the Celestial Mountain, Ghost Sword Mountain, from the surviving evil cultivators. The evil beings in Ghost Sword Mountain were all famous generals of the famous country, the army of Heaven Destroyer General. Heaven Destroyer General was also one of Gao Dongtian's disciples. Back then, Heaven Destroyer General assisted Xiongba and cultivated together on the Celestial Mountain. After Gao Dongtian died, Xiongba and Heaven Destroyer General returned to the country. However, as his cultivation didn't improve, Xiongba became more and more irritable. Finally, he started to eat human spiritual roots and walked the path of evil cultivators. After Heaven Destroyer General found out, the two of them turned against each other. However, Heaven Destroyer General knew that he was no match for Xiongba, so he brought his men to Qi Wentian. Unfortunately, he didn't know that Qi Wentian had changed too. Hence, one night, Qi Wentian tricked these people to Ghost Sword Mountain and fed them energy-dispersing pills. However, maybe because they had killed too many people, the Wuji sword that protected the Celestial Mountain appeared and protected the souls of Heaven Destroyer General and the others. Hence, Ghost Sword Mountain was formed. Qi Wentian saw that Ghost Sword Mountain wasn't dangerous and could even allow his disciples to train. Hence, he didn't care much about it. However, he couldn't subdue the Wuji sword. After Hui Dynasty and Famous Country collapsed, Wang Zhong officially merged the three countries and named them the Celestial Dynasty. If he expanded further, Famous Country was Donglin Dahai and Hui Dynasty was surrounded by huge mountains. There was no need to expand further. Furthermore, Wang Zhong wasn't the kind of person who liked to expand his territory. After that, Wang Zhong started to work hard and prepared to launch a vigorous campaign to eliminate illiteracy. Under Wang Zhong's guidance, he came up with 5 policies for the sake of better managing this massive country. First, all children under the age of 10 should start learning how to read and add and subtract within 1,000 words. Second, try to wipe out places where evil creatures gathered within 30 years to ensure the safety of the people's lives and property. Third, protect the private ownership of land so that the farmers could farm in peace and ensure the production of food. Of course, some landlords and even some high-ranking officials didn't agree. However, in front of Wang Zhong's powerful tactics and administrative power, these people were like mantises trying to stop a chariot. In just 5 years, most of the landlords were dealt with. Every family was given an acre of land according to their population. Of course, sometimes there wasn't enough land. However, it didn't matter. As the evil creatures around the city were dealt with, the people's territory started to expand. Surrounding the huge city, villages and towns were gradually built. Fourth, ensure that the food production wasn't affected by natural disasters. This was more difficult. Fortunately, Wang Zhong had hundreds of years of farming experience. Under his guidance, the disciples learned how to farm one by one. Then they were sent out to teach them. In this way, the learning method was passed from 1 to 10, 10 to 100, and some of his farming skills were known by people. The production was much higher than before. Fifth, promote water projects. In the past, the imperial court deliberately allowed evil creatures to live in the wild to control the people. Therefore, the wild could be said to be very chaotic. Many cities would be affected by natural disasters. Therefore, Wang Zhong decided to promote water projects. First, he dug ditches in the rural towns to ensure that the water didn't flood the fields. Then, he taught everyone how to raise fish and shrimp in the ditches. By the way, Wang Zhong was surprised that there were lobsters in this world. However, people didn't know how to eat lobsters. Many people were even afraid of things in the water other than fish. Therefore, Wang Zhong became the first person to eat lobsters. When everyone knew how to eat lobsters, there were many people who took lobsters as a profession. This solved a lot of the employment problem. Wang Zhong was very satisfied with this. In the blink of an eye, Wang Zhong was 50 years old. Under the guidance of his 5 policies, the people of the country were no longer afraid of evil creatures. No one had to go hungry. Although they were a little poor, their lives were good. The golden age of the Celestial Dynasty had officially arrived. Chapter 214. This year, Wang Zhong was already 52 years old. According to the age of an ordinary person, he was already an old man. However, he was now a cultivator, so from his appearance, he looked about 30 years old. This also surprised Wang Zhong. However, although he was a cultivator, his parents were not. Zhao Dahai was very old. Although Wang Zhong gave him some elixirs, he was still an ordinary person. It was already good that Zhao Dahai was still alive and could move at such an old age. Therefore, Wang Zhong couldn't do anything about it. In the past, Wang Zhong said that it was too tiring to run an inn and asked him to stop running it and return to the palace to enjoy life. However, Zhao Dahai was unwilling. He said that he had a hard life, and returning to the palace would cause him to die faster. Therefore, he continued to run the inn, but ordinary people didn't know his true identity. On this day, Zhao Dahai finally collapsed. In front of the hospital bed, Zhao Dahai shouted, "Xiao Dong, I'm afraid I can't make it. There's something that I've been hiding from you for a long time." "What is it?" "Actually, before you, I had a daughter named Zhao Rong. You have an aunt from the Huang clan." "Boo-hoo. Master." Wei Yan cried sadly. Wang Zhong sighed. "I know all this. You know. Well, you forgot that I can deal with ghosts, so I saw my sister, Zhao Rong, and my aunt, the Huang clan very early on." What Wang Zhong didn't say was that they were actually next to him. All these years, Zhao Rong and the Huang clan had been in the inn. "I've let them down. They didn't enjoy much before they left. I really want to see them." Zhao Dahai murmured weakly, "Xiao Dong, I'm dead. Help us bury together. A family, neat and tidy." "Okay. Ayen." Zhao Dahai then looked at Wei Yan and held her hand tightly. "You too. Let's not open this inn anymore." Slowly Zhao Dahai froze. Because in front of him, he seemed to see his eldest daughter, Zhao Rong, and his deceased wife, Huang clan. Was it them? Zhao Dahai suddenly smiled. "I'm here." As he spoke, he slowly lowered his hand. Zhao Dahai left, but Wang Zhong didn't make it public. He handled the funeral in a low-key manner. According to Zhao Dahai's wishes, Wang Zhong buried Zhao Dahai in the small house. Zhao Dahai didn't turn into a ghost because Wang Zhong discovered that as the evil beings around him were dealt with, the Yin energy in the air gradually disappeared. The sky that had been gloomy before was now filled with sunlight. Wang Zhong guessed that it was probably because of the rise of the human path and the destruction of the evil path. There was still some cause and effect in this. However, Wang Zhong was also very happy. Zhao Dahai had entered the cycle of reincarnation after all. Sigh, Dahai is gone, but it's enough for me to see him live a peaceful life for so many years. Huang clan hugged Zhao Rong and looked at their tombstone. "Let me expiate your souls," Wang Zhong said. As a cultivator, expiating souls wasn't difficult. It was just that all these years, Huang clan and Zhao Rong were unwilling to leave. They were used to staying in this small inn. As a family, of course, they had to be neat. It was just that Zhao Dahai had left, so there was no need for them to stay. "Yes, thank you, Xiao Dong." Huang clan nodded. Wang Zhong stretched out his hand and chanted, "Heaven and earth are boundless. Borrow the power of the universe. Let the souls turn and expiate them." With a flash of light, Huang clan and Zhao Rong's souls became fainter and fainter. "My good brother, goodbye." Zhao Rong waved her hand. "Goodbye." Wang Zhong smiled. The two of them finally disappeared. This matter was over. However, Wang Zhong didn't close the auspicious inn. Instead, he left it to the servants to take care of. When he came out, Sun Dainyu and Ah Xiang, who were carrying their grandson, came back from grocery shopping. Sun Dainyu had been pursuing Lin Wu when he was young. Later, Ah Xiang chased after him and the two of them got together. Now, they had many children and grandchildren and were living happily together. Hey, isn't this Zhao Xiaodong? Although Sun Dainyu was old, his body was very healthy and his eyesight was very good. He saw Wang Zhong from afar. "It seems like he really is," Ah Xiang said. Wang Zhong smiled at them. "Sun Dainyu, Ah Xiang, you're still so young." "As expected of a cultivator," Sun Dainyu said. Ah Xiang said, "Lin Wu, how is she?" She and Lin Wu were like sisters when they were young, but they hadn't seen each other for a long time. "She's very good. How are you guys?" Wang Zhong said. Yes, we're all very good. This is my grandson, Sun Dainyu said. Very good. Has your spiritual root been tested? Yes, it's only level 6. Sun Dainyu sighed. Under Wang Zhong's management, only those with level 3 spiritual roots had the hope of entering the immortal mountain to cultivate. Therefore, people with level 6 spiritual roots were destined to be ordinary people. Although it was very cruel, the natural conditions now were too poor. Wang Zhong couldn't let everyone cultivate. Letting everyone read and write was already the limit of this era. Live a good life, Wang Zhong said. Yes, Xiao Dong. When you go back, help me say hello to Xiao Wu. I miss her very much, Ah Xiang said. I'll ask her to come back and see you when she's free. Okay. Ah Xiang smiled happily. I'm leaving. Wang Zhong left. Except for Sun Dainyu and Ah Xiang, everyone forgot everything that happened near the auspicious inn. As time passed, no one knew the history of this place. After that, Lin Wu's parents, the Lin prefecture couple, also passed away one after another. However, they passed away very peacefully. In the last few years, Lin Wu accompanied them back to their hometown and often accompanied them. After they left, the Lin family's cloth workshop also closed down. Naturally, Lin Wu was sad. However, they were all adults and knew that there was a cycle of reincarnation. Therefore, even though she was sad, she still gave her parents a proper burial. Let's go back. Looking at the tombstones of his parents-in-law, Wang Zhong sighed and left with Lin Wu. At the same time, he also brought along Lin Wu's 2 children. These were their children. In a few years, Wei Yan was also old. It seems that I won't live for long. After a serious illness, Wei Yan drank a bowl of medicine and sighed. Mother, you'll be fine. Ziru sat aside obediently. Lin Wu and Lu Hua also stood aside and waited on her. I know in my heart. I've lived for so many years. It's enough. Son, Wang Zhong said, Mother. I'm leaving. Bury me beside Dahai. Okay. The next year, Wei Yan really passed away. In the same year, Ziru's house accidentally caught fire. Zi Nanshan and Lu Yen were burned to death. After that, Wang Zhong investigated and found that it was really an accident. When the 2 of them were sleeping, the candles were not extinguished. Later, the candles were blown over by the wind and set the house on fire. It was a pity. Sub. Father, Mother, you died so tragically. Ziru looked at the 2 charred corpses and burst into tears. Hut, Lu Hua, take Ziru down. Wang Zhong endured the pain and said, Okay. The 3 of them went down. Wang Zhong ordered people to clean up the place. After this lesson, Wang Zhong carried out a large-scale safety inspection all over the country. He put forward 5 outlines for construction. First, in life, prevention is better than cure and eliminate hidden safety hazards. Second, safety measures must be taken at work. Third, in the future, the distance between houses should be longer. Because everyone's houses were made of wood, once a fire broke out, the consequences would be unimaginable. Fourth, workers should be trained to be aware of safety when they go to work. Improper construction should be prohibited. Fifth, safety should be the first priority. Whether it was building houses, forging iron, or any other work, construction should be carried out strictly according to the 5 outlines. After implementing the 5 outlines, there were indeed fewer accidents. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.